now he's the backup for Eli Manning, but he has a shoulder problem. He's out. And there's Dan Sepulveda. He will be doing the kicking tonight. He's been doing that a lot up at training camp in Latrobe when it was there. Did it pretty well. Tonight they had a scrimmage at Latrobe High School. Back deep, it's Gartrell Johnson, one of their young running backs. So we're underway at the new Meadowlands, and it's taken by Johnson at the 5-yard line. Makes his way toward the 20, hits a wall of Steelers, and goes down right about there. Hangs on to the football, and the Giants will go to work with their offensive unit, led by Rhett Bomar, number 5. This is a guy who his entire career, 3 preseason games, that's all he has to offer here. He was pretty good last week, but combined 10 of 16, 128 yards, a touchdown, and a big 6 of 7 against the Jets. He actually went to Sam Houston State after he left Oklahoma. He was dismissed from that football team because of NCAA violations. So we'll see what he can do. Right off the bat, it looks like we're going to have a re-kick.
A little bit of confusion right out of the box there. I saw the flag.
Giants were all on the field ready to go to work offensively, and then they left the field.
Coach Tomlin's over there rallying his kickoff coverage troops once again.
Well, one of the knocks on Jeff Reed has been not getting the ball to the end zone enough, so they're experimenting here, and who's to say who will actually get that job when it's all said and done. I know Jeff Reed still wants it, but Sepulveda has a younger leg, certainly, and a booming one, and we'll see what he can do here. Done pretty well up at training camp, as I said. He'll get another opportunity now from his own 25-yard line.
Time will tell whether he can get the ball to the end zone and into the end zone when it's about 28 degrees outside in Pittsburgh and the wind's blowing hither and thither. But right now he does have the stronger of the 2 legs.
And they've switched. Gartrell Johnson no longer back there. It's another young running back, Andre Brown, who they bring out. He's out of North Carolina State, was their 4th-round pick last year. Missed all of the season with an injury, so they're anxious to see what he can do. And now here's the kick, and not very deep. It's going to be taken by Brown at about the 13-yard line. Better field position for the Giants because of that penalty. Up the middle he goes. Steelers bring him down, gang tackling at about the 34-yard line, and in much better field position for the Giants as they go to work after that penalty. All right, let's take a look at the Chevrolet starting lineups here. You got Brandon Jacobs for the Giants, the big back there. Madison Hedgecock, his fullback. Kevin Boss at tight end. Steve Smith, 107 catches last year. Teamed with Mario Manningham, 3rd-year man out of Michigan. Up front, it's Will Beatty, David Deal, Sean O'Hara, Guy Wimper, and the former Penn Stater Kareem McKenzie. That's your Giants starting lineup. That Brandon Jacobs is a big guy.
He's a load.
265 pounds, eh?
Offensive lineman.
Up the middle he goes, and short game before he's knocked down there. Steelers certainly looking to improve defensively. The stats were good last year, Edmund, but too many times they did not make big enough plays in big-time situations, which led to 5 fourth-quarter losses of the lead. And you got Aaron Smith, Casey Hampton, along with Kiesel up front. The linebackers, Woodley, Ferrier, Timmons, and Harrison. If you look in the secondary, Ike Taylor, Ryan Clark, Troy Polamalu, and Bryant McFadden gets a start tonight. He's being pushed by Keenan Lewis quite a bit. Lewis is a guy who had a pretty good game last week and has had a pretty good camp. Bomar swings it, 1st down yardage, as his man Steve Smith. As I said, 107 receptions a year ago, and that's the most in New York Giant history.
Troy Polamalu coming up, making the hit from all over the place. Makes a nice little inside move there. Comes right inside of B-Mac. Brian McFadden makes that play.
Troy Polamalu looking to get a little bit more time tonight. Keep testing that knee. Twice he had it injured last year. Missed 11 games. They're looking for him to be here every single game if they can. It's a much different team with him in there. A little under pressure going for Boss. The big... We'll make that Pasco, the other tight end they just brought in. Bear Pasco. Interesting first name there out of Fresno State.
First name is actually McKenna.
That's why he goes by Bear. It's a much more football-friendly name.
I like Bear. Pressure put on by Brett Kiesel that last play. Brett trying to get his work in early today.
Just underway here at the Meadowlands. As I said, this place brand new. $1.6 billion to build it, and they have some seats here that are obscured. You would think that would not have happened, but it did. In the making of it, up the middle goes the DJ Ware. Now we got a fight in the secondary breaking out of nowhere there. Ryan Clark in the middle of it. That was down the field a little bit, Edmund. I don't know what precipitated it, but flags fly.
Somebody's got a hold of Ike Taylor there, trying to calm him down. It's like Will Gay.
That's Ike Taylor down below.
Ike Taylor right down here in the corner, folks.
Hakeem Nicks.
And there's punches thrown, and they're really not happy with one another. They're discussing something.
Hakeem Nicks, last year first-round pick. Both players ejected. Wow.
Pretty quick with the ejections there, but you can't fight. Will Gay was trying to pull Ike Taylor away, and Ike was still jawing. He escorted him to the sidelines, and it just wasn't enough. It just kept going, and certainly the officials want to get a grasp on that before it gets out of hand, Bob, and did a fine job of doing it. Both guys got an early night.
Last year, Nicks was one of their go-to guys. First-round pick, 6 touchdowns in his first campaign. Ike Taylor, his job's done, as is Nicks, so we'll see some opportunities for younger guys in the Steelers secondary right off the bat. It's a 3rd and 6, offsetting penalties. As the Giants try to extend this drive and move the chains under Rhett Bomar. They signed another quarterback, Dominic Randolph, out of Holy Cross, and he's basically a warm body in here. We'll see if he gets any time tonight. Here's Bomar, slings it downfield, and it's incomplete. Tried to split the defenders of Steve Smith. Not going to happen. The Steelers will now get the ball on offense.
Will Gay made a very nice place, breaking on that ball. Almost had it. Was kicking himself as he ran off the field. Nearly had that ball. It could have been 6 as he was crossing the field.
Will Gay's one of those guys they've been looking at to step up. By his own admission, he got caught up in his own headlines, his own hype last year after taking the job from McFadden, one of the reasons why they brought him back. And there's Antonio Brown, who took it, 68-yard touchdown reception last week. He's going to get a chance here tonight. Special teams, we're expecting to see a lot of him. It's a line drive kick by Dodge, the rookie. Brown gets to the outside and runs out of bounds at about the 20-yard line, 19-20, depending on where they spot it. But we'll get a heavy dose of him, number 84. And I know that they're very high on his abilities on special teams, which might impact Stephon Logan, because Logan basically doesn't do anything aside from return kicks.
That could be where he makes it. It's very important. Nice job there.
We're back at the new Meadowlands. Bob Pompiani, Edmund Nelson, Jeff Rosella. It's scoreless. Steelers hold the Giants, and they get the ball back. And Ben Roethlisberger, first time in this preseason. Roethlisberger under center. Flozell Adams will be watching him a lot of right tackle. I have to tell you, talking to Sean Krugler, he said that aside from that one sack, that he thought Flozell did very well last week. We'll talk more about that. There's Rashard Mendenhall up the middle, and he is hit there by Sharif Rashad originally to make that stop. Now let's look at the Chevrolet starting offensive unit for your Pittsburgh Steelers. Mendenhall Summers is in the backfield as the lead blocker. Heath Miller coming off 76 receptions. Hines Ward 95. Mike Wallace now elevated to number 2. The offensive line, Starks Kamawatu. Justin Hartwick for now is the starter, although the big push by Pouncey, Trey Essex, and Flozell Adams, who will also share the deal tonight with Jonathan Scott. We'll get a look at him at right tackle as well. 2nd and 4 after a gain of 6 by Mendenhall. Roethlisberger little play action, goes out to his favorite tight end target. Heath Miller has first down yardage. Run out of bounds by Aaron Ross, and not before they move the chains.
Look how comfortable he looks here. I mean, this is just, Ben kind of running the offense. Great timing here. Sees the rush on top of him. Gets rid of the ball in a nice fashion, giving Heath Miller plenty of time to run over somebody, which he does.
Steelers are looking to get back to recommitment to the run game. We saw last year that they passed the ball 56% of the time, which if you go back in time 5 years ago, they ran the ball almost 70% of the time. So that pendulum switched a little bit too close to the passing game. We'll see if they try to get more of a 50-50 split. Roethlisberger now passing again, rolling out. looking downfield. As his man is going to be a pass interference call there on Deion Grant, who was covering Heath Miller. A mismatch there for the Steelers, and it'll be another first down.
Heath Miller finding a way to get good position there. Don't know which way the call is going to be made, but Ben Roethlisberger buying time. He's being held, he's being grabbed, he's being pulled, shoved, and yet finds a way to get in front and make a play.
Deion Grant brought him here. Originally a second-round pick of Carolina. He's in his 11th season. They need some depth back there. They've had some injuries. He has started 144 regular and postseason games in a row. So the question is, will he start here? They have Kenny Phillips and Antrell Roll, who, by the way, is listed as the third quarterback here tonight, Edmund, because they have quarterback difficulties. And up the middle again, Mendenhall. Short game this time. That New York Giant defensive front right there. It's Barry Cofield, 96, who led the way. They got a very good, stout defensive line, which will be a good test for the Steeler offensive line tonight. All right, let's take a look at the Chevrolet Giants lineup now. It's Justin Tuck, Barry Cofield, Chris Canty, OCU Menora is up front tonight. Clint Sintum, along with Keith Bullock, brought him over after 10 years with the Titans. Michael Boley, they gave a big $25 million contract to last year. Secondary, it's Webster, Roll, Phillips. And Roll, by the way, had an interception last week. First pass of the preseason for Mark Sanchez. He picked it off, returned it all the way to the 1-yard line, which set up a score for the Giants. And now it's a little reverse action. And look at this play, and a beautiful one right there by Aaron. Well, make that 91. It's Justin Tuck. You talk about quickness for a defensive lineman. I mean, he fought off his blocker and he got there talking Randall L. Not
actually
bad.
Took the inside route, the wrong route. Heath Miller should have done a better job closing him down. Justin Tuck with great athletic ability, being able to come inside and catching Antoine Randall L. deep into the backfield and stymieing what was up to that point a pretty good drive.
Now it forces a 3rd and 21 after that big loss. Justin Tuck out of Notre Dame, and boy, he's become a real big player here. Nice protection there. Roethlisberger slings it to a safety valve, who is Mendenhall, trying to make a juke, gets an additional yardage, but certainly not enough. He made the move on Corey Webster, finally knocked out of bounds, and we're going to have the Steelers in punt formation for the first time tonight. So a big play by Justin Tuck denies the Steelers.
You know, and that was just one of those plays, that reverse call, Bob. They had a nice drive going. They didn't need anything fancy, and that's one of the things that calls into question, you know, Bruce Arians and his play calling. Up to that point, yes, if he makes a good play, everybody executes, you know, now you have the drive still going and you got a great play. What a great call. But when you look at that play and you don't execute, now you have a big loss and it stymies a great drive. What was up to then Ben's first drive, a great drive, now you got to start all over.
Aaron Ross with a fair catch. He makes it about the 18-yard line. A high hanger from Daniel Sepulveda, and the Giants go back to work offensively. So we've had 2 possessions, 1 each, resulting in 2 punts. It's scoreless at the New Meadowlands. Back with New York on offense when we return. If you've just joined us, we are scoreless. Each team with a possession, each team with a punt. Hey, the classic show Hawaii Five-0 gets reimagined this fall, starring Alex O'Loughlin and Daniel Day Kim. You can catch the big blue wave Mondays at 10 this fall on CBS, starting September the 20th. It's Hawaii Five-0 here on KDKA.
I like the way you say that. Catch a blue wave.
The blue wave.
Blue wave.
Right now, the blue wave has the ball. The New York Giants here trying to get some momentum going. This Bomar kid, listed as the 3rd string. This is going to be the most game time he's going to get. Here's a blitz by Lawrence Timmons. Quick release, and it's a good one. And he also makes some extra yardage there as the receiver. And that is Mario Manningham.
And Bomar got blasted after that. Look, watch this rush off the edge here. Look at this rush right here. Timmons, boom. And that was just a little love tap. My goodness, Timmons coming free. The good read by Bomar, the blitz read, gets the right receiver, and Manningham does the rest, doing a nice job of eluding Ryan Clark there and getting to the sidelines.
Good for a first down, ball at the 30-yard line now, and they hand the ball off straight up the middle. Gain of about 4 yards there for the Giants. We do have some really talented wide receivers here. We talked about Smith, but Manningham in his 3rd year. Sonoris Moss is also on this roster right now. And there's Smith. He had one of those big plays in Super Bowl 42. You know, everybody talks about the Burris touchdown, Plexico Burris. but it was a 3rd and 11 right before then. I remember he was the man they called. He got 12 yards on the 3rd down. In fact, he had 46 third down receptions last year. He's very big on 3rd down, and they needed it in Super Bowl 42 to beat the Patriots. 2nd and 6 now. And a nice play there by James Ferrier, who nails DJ Ware in the backfield. Ferrier comes in for a nice loss there defensively.
Potsy, the ageless one. This guy has been around forever, watching blitz the gap here. Just kind of sitting back, gets the read, and gets up into the line of scrimmage, playing on the Giants' side of the line of scrimmage. That's just an absolute read. I mean, that's the way to bust in there, Potsy, and get your read on. He actually was not in the blitz package right there. That was not a zone blitz. He just had a very quick read, and he's been around for quite some time. 13-year vet.
3rd and 8 now. They bring in 4 wides, including the man who was the hero last week, number 3, Victor Cruz out of UMass. Pressure is on. Bomar can't get out of the grasp of the Steelers on a sack there, and that is, of course, big Aaron Smith.
You want to know what a lot of what was wrong with the Steeler defense last year? It was because that guy missed a lot of the year with a shoulder injury. Watch him just working hard inside, bodies flying all over the place. He's falling, gets a chance to grab onto the quarterback and takes him down. Aaron Smith, one of the leaders and the leader of that defensive front. Coach John Mitchell just absolutely loves his big guy.
No question about it. Big play by Aaron Smith. They need a lot of that from him. Matt Dodge back to punt, 2nd time tonight. And here's Antonio Brown backpedaling to his own 18-yard line. He makes it, turns on the speed, trying to go up the middle, and almost got away. Just a shoestring tackle there at the very end. Number 84 with a nice return, and the Steelers go to work.
Did you see how quickly he went north and south right there? Unbelievable. If we can take a look at that when we come back, man, you love to see that.
We're back, scoreless game, 6:55 left first quarter. It's been a defensive battle so far, but some electricity on that last return.
Well, you got to love it. From this angle, you can see he's got nothing but blue shirts, and there is absolutely no hesitation. If he hesitates, he's lost. Isn't there a saying that goes something like that?
It is.
He who hesitates is what?
Incorporated well by you.
Right away, he saw nothing but blue shirts in front of him, and he takes the onus and says, look, I'm going to shoot right up one of these gaps. And look, he got a very nice return out of that. I don't think that Logan does that same kind of thing, Bob. We maybe see the beginnings of a new punt returner here in Pittsburgh.
Certainly a controversy that involves somebody other than quarterback. And look at Osi Umenyiora run down Rashard Mendenhall. Umenyiora is one of those guys who, out of Troy State, is a big difference maker on their defensive line.
You know, they got great off-the-edge rushers here, the Giants, and Umenyiora just takes the gap, sees it. You know, you can't be running these plays that are going to be stretching the field to the outside. You got to have quick hitters. Watch him just comes up. There's a wide gap there, and he wasn't waiting for it. He just shot up the gap, tackled Rashard Mendenhall for a loss, and now the Steelers are in a big hole. The 2nd and long.
He still owns the all-time Giant record, most sacks in a single game, 6 against Philadelphia. The Giants had 12 in that game, which is still an NFL record. Umenyiora, born in London, England. Now Roethlisberger looking to find time. Going down the field, looking for Mike Wallace. The home run here, slightly underthrown and picked up. Right there is Corey Webster in coverage, makes the interception against Mike Wallace, and a ball that was underthrown.
Ben breaking out of the pocket under duress, trying to make a play, and I guess he didn't read the memo. No one has outthrown Mike Wallace yet. Just heave it down there.
And we got some shenanigans as well as Barry Cofield and Marquise Pouncey go at it a little bit. We'll sort it all out. Giants back on offense after the pick by Webster. We're back. Scoreless game. Mike Wallace had a step, but it was underthrown. Interception by Webster.
Well, certainly it's, even though Ben was under duress, he was in between steps, was kind of wrong-footed. Breaking the pocket here, somebody in his face, so he moves to his right. Now the rest, now just heave it, and he was right in between steps, couldn't quite get enough on it. Wallace making a pretty good play to keep the return from happening. You just got to see him go around. Now right there, the ball should be gone and thrown as far as he could possibly throw it. Again, Mike has to sit back there and wait on it, and that's a pretty easy interception.
Ahmad Bradshaw in the backfield now, and he takes the handoff from Bomar. Gets a couple of yards and keeps on going. Ryan Clark comes up along with Ferrier to put him down. And Bradshaw out of Marshall, a 7th-round pick in 07, has 2 of the longest runs in Giant history at 88 and 77 yards.
And it's really flourished in a part-time role behind Brandon Jacobs. They really have a great 1-2 punch in those two guys. You got big power, speed with that, and then you have Ahmad Bradshaw who's got some moves, Got great straight ahead power. And seems to be a game breaker.
All right, it's 2nd and 5 after the 5-yard pickup by Bradshaw. Red Bomar back to pass. Has time, now collapses, trying to get to the outside and does. Here comes Lawrence Timmons trying to drag him down, and he gets away from him and across the 40 for first down yardage. Good explosion by Timmons, but a little too late as Bomar tucks it away and moves the chains.
Bomar was really spending a lot of time in that pocket trying to see if anything downfield opens up. You can see it here, the pressure's coming, the blitz is on. Guys are all around him. Somebody's got to get a hand on him. Woodley right there. All he had to do was reach out, and Bomar showing some speed with the legs, but he's the only surviving quarterback out of the top 3 that they've had. He's going to have to learn how to get on the ground quick. Keenan Lewis coming up trying to take his head off right there.
Keenan Lewis in the game, because if you missed it, Ike Taylor was ejected early in this game, as well as Hakeem Nicks. They got into it, swinging some haymakers, and they both got ejected, offsetting personal fouls, and now we have a delay of the game. Another inexperienced quarterback, and this is what happens.
Got to get the play in and get the play out, get up to the line of scrimmage. You can hardly blame him, though. Hasn't had many snaps at all. Bob, just coming out, had a lot of adversity coming out of college, finishing college, had a knee injury, an ACL, his first year after his transfer from Oklahoma. Fought through that, and now he's here quarterbacking the New York Football Giants. Unbelievable.
Now we have a false start penalty, it would appear, against the Giants as well. So they're marching backwards. And Bomar, you might remember, in 04 was considered by rivals the #1 high school quarterback in the country, which is why Oklahoma went after him and committed there. He went there, and then he got dismissed because of NCAA violations for taking a job that wasn't sanctioned by the NCAA, apparently.
And how about his predecessor coming in there and getting the guaranteed $60 million, the highest ever, by
Sam Bradford?
That's right.
50 out of 80 plus or whatever it is. It's
Craziness.
amazing. One of the reasons why the CBA, it's a big talked about issue as they move forward, and we'll see next March what happens. Owners opted out, which is why you have no salary cap this year. Bomar slings it. Good coverage there on Steve Smith. And they were looking for penalty. Brian McFadden was all over him, and nothing called.
On this particular play, Steve Smith is trying to get to the inside. Brian McFadden has inside technique. That is excellent. A little hugging going on there, but no one saw it but me, and I didn't call it. Great job there by Brian McFadden.
He ran right into the coverage.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He's entitled to his position. Good body control there by Bryant, playing the inside right. You can run the out there, but you cannot run the eye cut because he would be off to the races. B-Mac back after having a stint out of Arizona.
2nd and 20 now for Bomar. Here comes some pressure. He slings it out and off the mark there from Mario Manningham. He was going one way. The ball went in another. Good coverage there by Keenan Lewis. There's Kevin Gilbride. You remember him. Offensive coordinator. Spent, what was it, a couple seasons with the Steelers back in 1999-2000. His son actually works for this team as well as a quality control guy on offense.
You know, I saw the Gilbride. That's his son.
Yeah. And he's certainly developed Eli Manning, who is only Giant quarterback in their history with 5 straight 3,000-yard seasons and 5 straight 20-touchdown seasons.
A little pedigree in that Manning family. I don't know where it came from, but they got a whole lot of it.
Giants open 2 on 3rd down. Steelers looking to make it 0 for 3. It's 3rd and 20. Bomar again underneath. Goes to Ware. He avoids Polamalu and cuts inside. Nice extra effort there by Ware, but it's still short of the first down. Good to see Troy Polamalu cutting on that ankle because it's still a concern, or I should say knee. And he looks pretty good out there, and that's going to be one of the things we watch all season long.
Take note of this because Troy rarely misses tackles. Comes in, Troy has him dead to rights. Lots of room to work with, slows him down just enough, and now he's got all of his guys coming. But the funny thing about this is you see Troy come back into the picture. He would have made the tackle eventually. He was still after.
Dodge. The draft pick this year gets it away, and here is Brown again. Brown makes a move up the middle. Makes a nice first move there and turns it into pretty nice yardage on the return. It seemed like there was not much there. He made one move. Boo, we have an injured Giant down on the field as well. Steelers go back to work on offense when we return to Meadowlands. Now we're back. 2:48 left. First quarter. Brown with just a return. They brought the card out. DJ Ware, it looks like. I believe it's 28. Can't see from our angle here, but he was in the middle of that scrum. on the return by Antonio Brown, and he's down. Let's check it out again. But he's a reserve running back and a guy who's had some injury problems in the past.
Number 28 coming in right there. Right there, his own teammate came across right on the side of his head, bumped him, and he refused to lay on the ground. I think they were going to cart him off and immobilize him, Bob. He just decided, hey, I'm getting up.
Looked like 71 Dave Tollefson actually hit him. But Ware is one of those guys, as I said, they've been kind of counting on him. Out of Georgia, undrafted out of Tennessee, spent time with the Jets before he came here. Hey, if you think cheerleading isn't a sport, the CW wants to prove you wrong. Ashley Tisdale and Ale McCulca star as highly competitive college cheerleaders in Hellcats. You could check it out. It premieres Wednesday, September 8th, 9 o'clock after America's Next Top Model on Pittsburgh's CW.
Ooh, there'll be some cat fighting on there.
And Roethlisberger in his third series right now, although there was an interception by Webster on the last possession that he had. This is Isaac Redmond shedding tacklers up the middle, some hard yards right there. And if you go by what we've seen in week number 2 of the preseason, Edmund, there, Manning got 5 series, Brady got 3. Last night Carson Palmer got 7. So I would expect Ben to have a little bit more here before Leftwich comes through, because I think they still want to play Leftwich with the first team O-line.
You want to get Ben as many snaps as he needs to get comfortable. Doesn't seem like he's quite comfortable yet, but that was a very nice misdirection play, and Isaac Redmond working with the first team. Does that mean anything?
Dustin Hartwig still at center. We expect to see Marquise Pouncey there from time to time. Hand off up the middle, and it's first down yardage. Rashard Mendenhall moves the chains, and the Steelers, as I said, would like to really start using that running game to an advantage. Last year in the red zone,
this is the difference in Rashard. This was the misdirection earlier with Isaac Redmond going right up the middle. A very nice play. But in the last play, you saw Rashard Mendenhall hit the hole. There's a difference from last year to this year, even in his play, because he would have danced around on that play last year. This year, he hit the hole hard, got the first down, and away they go.
First and 10 for the Steelers, operating from the 46-yard line now. Roethlisberger, pump fakes, still has the ball. Justin Tuck in the middle looking for him. He throws it down the middle and has his man. And that's Heath. Or make that Matt Spaeth, the other big tight end. Spaeth is down the field, but Roethlisberger with a good pump fake, and he had a couple of guys in the air.
Because he's tall, he has patience, he's standing back there, and there's not too many people that can make that throw, folks. He makes that throw right down to Matt Spaeth. Matt Spaeth finds an open spot as Ben is getting in there. Look at this. Good blocking up front. Nobody got a hand on him until right back there at the end. But Ben, because he's big, strong, tall, Matt Spaeth just kind of finds an open spot, and Ben lays it in there to him.
Another first down for the Steelers now. Handoff again. Mendenhall spinning away and gets 3 yards on the play. Tuck was there originally, spun away from that, got some positive yardage.
Rashard Mendenhall being careful with the ball there. He almost got it dragged out of his hands, but as he was spinning, held on to it. I think he learned a lesson last week.
Well, this week at training camp, before they concluded, they had a drill, Edmund, where they had all these guys with poles and boxing gloves at the end of it, and they had the running backs try to run through there while they were jabbing and trying to get that ball out. And this is what happens when you are in a situation. And Mendenhall, as you alluded to last broadcast, had that last year where he had to carry it around everywhere. Straight up the middle, Mendenhall this time with a nice chunk of yards, very close to first down yardage, and I believe he has it as they get to about the 25-yard line.
Great blocking at the point of attack. The Steelers not trying to fool anybody. The guys in the middle just coming off. Hartwig, Trey Essex, right in the middle of that line. Chris Kemoyatu.
All right, we've reached the end of the first quarter. So far, no score, but the Steelers are driving in New York territory. We'll pick it up there when we return live to the Meadowlands. Second quarter about to begin. Bob Pompiani, Edmund Nelson up here in the booth. Jeff Rosella down on the field. It's scoreless, but the Steelers have now a 3rd and 1. They measured while we were gone, and it's just a little bit short. So that's what a lot of coaches want to see, short yardage, and here we go.
And run the football. Want to see the Steelers run the football in this situation.
Heath Miller moves over, first man through, and it goes to the fullback, and that's definitely first down yardage there. It's Isaac Redmond who lined up, quick hitter right up the middle, and Steelers continue with this drive.
Very nice movement at the point of attack. The Steelers are really dominating this defensive front for the New York Giants. There's nothing to sneeze at. Look at the penetration right there. Trey Essex getting out there, the hotel, Flozell, driving in there, and big Isaac Redmond, once he gets that weight going forward, you can forget about it. Gets the body lean in there much more than he needs for the first down, and then all of that is just extracurricular activity, unnecessary.
1st and 10 from the 22-yard line now for the Steelers. Look to get into that red zone and be productive. It's a sprint and draw handoff to Mendenhall, and he's going nowhere right there. Antron Roll, the veteran, he came over here from Arizona. He was a Pro Bowler last year. He signed with the Giants, and he makes the play. Too long in developing for that play.
Yeah, against this defense, the Steelers need to have the quick hitters, something just hanging out there. They're trying to take advantage of pursuit, but there was no pursuit until Antron Roll came up. You know, this New York Giants defense has 2 free agent new safeties, so they must have had lots of problems back there at the safety position, getting beat deep and whatnot last year, because they got 2 guys in there that have come in that are expected to start and have immediate help in that defensive backfield.
It was most notable the last 2 games of the year. They got blown out against Carolina in the final game of the old Meadowlands. Roethlisberger overthrows Hines Ward. His intended receiver, Terrell Thomas, 24, in coverage there. We got a penalty flag in the backfield.
Looks like Ben is pointing towards the Steelers side, so must be
holding. Offense number 71. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Flozell Adams, and we said last week he was the most penalized offensive lineman in football last year. A lot of holding calls, and normally when that happens, it means somebody's got an edge on him.
Big Flozell Adams up to the top of your left of your screen there, coming around the edge, trying to see if we can see the hold. Looks like he just kind of bulldogs the guy to the ground. Didn't see much of a hold there, but you know, Bob, I think a lot of penalties are called on Flozell because he's the biggest human being ever to play out there, or pretty close to it anyway.
Well, they call him the hotel. It's a big hotel, too.
It's a big old hotel.
Concierge service and everything. 2nd and 27 now as the Steelers go backwards. Roethlisberger looking to make up some yardage here. Being pursued, throws it by Heath Miller, and that gets him to about the 26-yard line. It'll set up a 3rd down and about 14, it looks like.
That was a very well thrown pass by Ben. Scrambling to his right. Look at Flozell blowing everything down. There's no pressure. Just move to the right a little bit. And look where Ben throws this ball. There's a defender right there, folks. He's waiting there. If Ben throws that ball and leads him a little bit, look at him. He's saying, you got to run to another route. He's talking to one of his wide receivers. Somebody didn't run the right route. But what a play he made, getting that ball into Heath Miller, where it could only be caught by him.
3rd and 14 now. Steelers trying to do something here. Roethlisberger under pressure, throws it down as his man. It's Antoine Randall who makes the reception and gets the necessary yardage to keep this drive alive as the Steelers will operate inside the 10-yard line.
And that's what you're looking for from your offensive leader. Back in the pocket, making a throw. Throws it right on the money to Antoine Randall. Antoine's running down there. Nice to have him back. Gets down there to the 9-yard line. The veteran move, running past the sticks, coming back to the ball, and Ben putting it on the money. Status quo for number 7.
Roethlisberger 6 of 7, 66 yards. The only incompletion was an interception on a ball that was underthrown. Mendenhall now spinning and hit hard right there as he gets to about the 6-yard line. Antwan Roll was one of them, came up over there, as well as Keith Bullock, who they brought over here from the Tennessee Titans after 10 years with Jeff Fisher.
I love to see red zone runs. Hit it up in, look at him, hit it up in there. I'm going to take some punishment, but I'm going to dish out a little bit. I'm just going to hit it up in here, and he's made a case for wanting to be the short yardage and goal line back, and that's what you have to do. You're going to take some punishment.
Keith Bullock is a New York native, and he kind of fills the void left by Antonio Pierce, who I believe. We'll see what he can do here in his role as starting middle linebacker. Roethlisberger play action now. Oh, he had Barry Cofield up in the air, but it all breaks down, and he's knocked down at about the 7-yard line. Nobody open downfield, at least it did not look that way here. And the Giants get a big play, setting up a 3rd and goal.
Trying to fool him, coming back with a little bit of play action there. Didn't really fool much of anybody, but he fooled number 96. He's thrown it up there. Cofield turned his back on him and just ran the other way like he thought the ball was gone. Oh, my. What a loss of yards there.
Bruce Johnson checks into the game in the secondary. for the Giants. Here's a 3rd and goal now. Steelers trying to score first, trying to get a touchdown. They had problems in the red zone last year. Roethlisberger throws it up looking for a fade man. Hines Ward looking for something there on Terrell Thomas. Nothing called. It's going to be 4th down, and we'll see Jeff Reed onto the field.
Looks like they were trying to run a little pick play up at the left side of your screen, and nobody was picked. Hines Ward trying to draw a flag there, but not really open. See if they're trying to run a pick between these two. Somebody's trying to pick one or the other off, and somebody's trying to get free. Timing between the two wide receivers is so important when you're trying to pick one of those defenders off, Bob. Didn't happen in that particular route sequence.
So it looks like a 26-yard field goal attempt coming up here for Jeff Reed. This should be automatic for him. Snap is a good one, the hold is a good one, and the kick is a good one. And despite some penalties, some self-inflicted wounds, the Steelers overcome that. They don't score a touchdown, but they break the ice. It's 3-0 Steelers live in East Rutherford. We're back, 10:43 left before halftime. Steelers finally score 13 plays, 58 yards under the direction of Ben Roethlisberger, occupying 7:05 and ending with a Jeff Reed 26-yard field goal. That's made it a 3-0 game. And now it's time for the PNC preseason scoreboard. PNC for the achiever in us all. Washington right now over Baltimore 3-0. Same score. Tampa Bay has the lead. Miami and Jacksonville just starting in St. Louis with Sam Bradford there leading Cleveland 7-0. 4 first downs on that drive by Roethlisberger, and they had to overcome some self-inflicted wounds on penalties, but they did it, and they got a good look at Roethlisberger. Sepulveda, the left footer now, kicking it off, and it's not very deep. It's taken by Andre Brown at the 11. Brown, not much more than that, across the 20 to about the 24-yard line, but that was not a very deep kickoff by Sepulveda.
Frank Summers, Frank the Tank, getting his head in there and getting him a hit on special teams, trying to make the team.
There he is, 44, making some special team notice. We'll be back with more after this. 3-0 Steelers have the lead on a Reed field goal of 26 yards. I want to remind you about another preseason show coming up. You're going to watch The Defenders. Jim Belushi and Jerry O'Connell star in The Defenders, a new legal drama about 2 Las Vegas defense attorneys who fight for the little guy. It's The Defenders. It airs Wednesday at 10 on CBS starting September the 22nd. Should be a very good show. We saw some previews of it. Tune in to KDK and find out. Bomar, 3 for 7 in this game so far, 28 yards. Madison Hedgecock is fullback in motion now. Bomar looking for the home run ball down the field for Steve Smith. And that one is going to be caught, is it? He gets up and keeps going. No whistles yet. Smith finally caught from behind by James Ferrier, but I got a feeling you might see a challenge here. That ball was underthrown. He turned in 2 directions, and somehow he came up with it.
That was one great adjustment by Smith. He's just got out there. Look at this. Look at this. Great position by Bryant McFadden. Nothing he can do. Possible touchdown right there. Tap down, rather. The Steelers stay after it, but what a play. What an adjustment. It looked like Bryant McFadden was about to catch that football. As Smith just makes the adjustment, goes up and gets it. Unbelievable.
That is. It looked like he was in position to make that pick, and all of a sudden, that's why that guy's a Pro Bowler. And he took it right away from
right out of his
McFadden.
hands. Took it right out of Bryant McFadden's hands. I'm sure B-Mac thought he had an INT there.
And up goes to Bradshaw. Cuts around. Troy Polamalu takes a hit, but he delivers the tackle, but not before. A healthy gain of 8 yards for Ahmad Bradshaw.
Ahmad Bradshaw really doesn't shy away from contact either, does he? Look at this cutback right there. Comes up, gets in there, lowers the boom on Ryan Clark and Troy Polamalu, drags him with 3 or 4 yards. That's tough running by Ahmad Bradshaw. The great 1-2 punch again in action. Just think about Brandon Jacobs getting the ball right after he grabs one.
Once again, it's Bradshaw. He's got a lot of. He cuts away the other way. Gets away from one potential tackler. Gets first down yardage inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. For 19, no marker, but a nice bit of ad libbing there by Bradshaw when it looked like there was nothing on the right side. He cut back the left side.
Student body right. Everybody's going right. The flow is to the right. He's running to the right. All of a sudden, he sees a little peek, and right there, James Harrison takes a bad angle. And now he's off to the races a little bit. Good backside help by B-Mac, staying at home. But right there, the cut. Lots of white and gold jerseys over there. gets the first down.
Bradshaw again. This time, nothing doing as the Steeler defense rises to the occasion there on the first down run. Polamalu and company.
Troy Polamalu with the flowing locks.
He said he had a different offseason this year, Edmund. He really, after having those 2 knee injuries, dedicated himself. Works with Marv Marinovich out on the West Coast. A lot of agility drills and different kinds of things. And so far, so good. It looks good in there tonight. This is the most extensive play we've seen from him. Bomar now looking for a slant pattern. It's almost picked off there by the Steelers. Good coverage on the play by Keenan Lewis.
Keenan again with good coverage on the outside. Kind of has inside presence, and now he's just kind of watching the ball as the ball crosses over. Got his hand on it. Almost got that one as another pick, and he's doggone it, I missed it. Almost made a great one-handed grab.
They're cruising here now, and that's for Victor Cruz, number 3. You talk about an instant hit in Newark. This kid last week had 3 touchdowns against the Jets. Number 3 out of UMass, undrafted. They thought they had a gem with him, and he made it happen last week. And this is a strike by Bomar. He gets it inside the 10-yard line there, and it's Derek Hagan, big wide receiver, makes that reception. And it's gonna be very close.
Bomar doing a nice job. Looks like he has first down yardage. Cuts right at the first down marker. Looks like he may have caught it at the 10. They could possibly question that spot, Bob. Looks like he caught that ball right on the 10-yard line.
They're going to measure right now and see forward progress is what they're calling for.
And there's Coach Dick LeBeau kind of looking around. All right, what in the world is going on out there, guys? Let's go. Let's get it together. Let's get a stop. Get off the field. Get your work in.
Going to the heavy package now. Madison Hedgecock, number 39, back in the game to take Cruz out. 2 wideouts, and the Giants do like to run the football in this formation here. They're first and goal at the Steeler 9-yard line. Steelers have the lead on a Jeff Lee 26-yard field goal. Handoff straight up the middle. Actually gets to the outside. Nice Bradshaw. Foot races on. Bradshaw gets hit from 9 yards. It's a touchdown as he outraces Bryant McFadden. And the Giants have countered a Jeff Lee field goal with a touchdown by Bradshaw. They lead 6-3.
Bradshaw showing the quicks. Again, a little hit up in the middle, and then the bounce to the outside. No holding, nothing. Just great speed, great vision. It's a well-orchestrated drive by Rhett Bomar, the 13 quarterback, Bob. He's gone in there and done a very nice job, made some very nice throws.
Some very nice catches, too, in particular that one by Steve Smith. That's what made this all possible. Really a whirling dervish kind. Lawrence Tynes out to attempt the point after, and it's up and good. And it's 7-3 on the touchdown drive by the Giants. A big play. It's Bomar to Steve Smith. 45 yards on that completion, part of a 7-play, 75-yard drive. And the Bradshaw 9-yard gallop, 7-3 Giants at East Rutherford. We're back at the Meadowlands. Edmund, who's faster, this cat or Bradshaw to the end zone?
Who's that cat anyway?
Quick as a cat, as was Bradshaw.
Cat-like quickness by Ahmad Bradshaw in more ways than one. I didn't see the cat flex. Did you see the cat flex at all?
No.
Ahmad certainly flexed after that touchdown.
Well, the Giants put together and take advantage of that big play by number 12 right there, Steve Smith. He made good on what looked like a sure interception for Bryant McFadden. Instead, it goes for a 45-yard gain in the key play of this 75-yard drive. Lawrence Tynes, you might remember, kicked the winning field goal in the NFC Championship game at Lambeau to get them into the Super Bowl, which they won. Kicks it off to Antonio Brown. Brown now shedding one tackler, gets out to the 27 before he's down. We'll get a healthy dose of him tonight, so they can make a decision. And it looks like Ben Roethlisberger's work is done. Byron Leftwich ready to come in. We'll have it when we return. We're back. Ben Roethlisberger's night is complete. There's his line, 6 for 8 for 76 yards, 1 pick. That was underthrown. He had Wallace for a step, but on the run he delivered it a little late. But other than that, pretty good stuff there for Roethlisberger, Edmund.
Not bad. Not bad for your first action after missing the first week of preseason. Looked like himself at times. A bit of rust, but you expect that this time of year.
Byron Leftwich now in last week, 6 of 10, 43 yards. Rather unimpressive. He still has the first string offensive line. They put in Marquise Pouncey, who I think is 1 and 1A with Justin Hartwig there, and the rest of the offensive line remains intact. A nice hit right there, bent like a pretzel. Barry Cofield delivered it to Mewelde Moore. Barry Cofield was the first Giant defender to play every game since Lawrence Taylor as a rookie in 2006.
Mewelde Moore thought he had a little more than what he actually had there into the line of scrimmage. Got bounced pretty good after a 1 or 2 yard gain.
Isaac Redmond checks in. He's in the backfield now. Matt Spaeth in motion. And the handoff again to Moore, trying to get up the middle. Again, nothing there. Barry Cofield and everyone else involved in that one. So 2 plays, not much in the way of yardage there. It's going to set up about a 3rd down and 3 or 4, depending on where they mark it.
Better straight ahead blocking by the Steelers. A little bit of pounding in there.
There's Jonathan Scott, 72 for Bruce Arians. He's in there now. Normally a left tackle, played in Buffalo for Sean Kugler, the offensive line coach. So he's in there now for Flozell Adams.
Not nearly as large a man as Flozell, but does a nice job. Did a nice job for Sean in Buffalo, and now he's here.
3rd down for Byron Leftwich. The heat is on. He's hit as he delivers, and he throws it a little out of the reach of Mewelde Moore. The pressure got to him. It'll result in a 3 and out, and the Steelers will punt it back to New York.
Byron Leftwich back in the pocket, has a lane, has time to throw this, just throws it high, gets dumped pretty good on his keister, but had the opportunity to make a play there, just a little high with his throw. He bounces up and he's looking at him like, did he catch that?
Aaron Ross back deep to receive this. Daniel Sepulveda punt now with the Giants leading 7-3 here in the first half. And it's a rocket of a punt. And Aaron Ross moving to his right takes it to the 12. Cuts back the other way, picks up a block. Ross now has some open field in front of him. Sepulveda fighting off a would-be blocker. And he's going to move over and make the tackle. Daniel Sepulveda looked like a linebacker out there and could have saved the touchdown, but Aaron Ross gives the Giants some outstanding field position.
To date, the first return of that type all preseason. You have good pressure coming down initially by Anthony Madison, but then there's a lane, and that leads to the problems that we had. And if not for Sepulveda making a great play here, this is 6 points.
You know, he played linebacker, so he knows how to do it. But, man, you talk about fighting off a blocker. Just he was being held and everything and still made the play.
Coach Al Everest does not like that at all, not even one little bit.
Play action for Bomar. Slings it high and out of the reach of Victor Cruz, who was last week's hero. That should have been a completion, and Bomar knows it.
Steelers have some substitutes in there at the defensive line. Ziggy Hood I see in there. Looks like Larry Foote.
Nick Eason's in there. Chris Hoke. Really want to see more of Hood, and I want to see this Worthington guy, too. We saw a little bit last week, Edmund. They need some younger blood on that defensive line, and this is what preseason's about for John Mitchell. Assistant head coach and offensive or defensive line boss. Bradshaw now trying to get to the outside, cannot do it. This time he's wrestled down by Kieran Fox. Short game.
The Steelers play a lot of people on defense, always have. Coach John Mitchell likes to substitute his defensive line in and out. See some linebacker play being substituted there. Kieran Fox is a known commodity, made big plays as he had to substitute in last year when Lawrence Timmons was hurt. But you're right, you need to see some youth making some plays, and Ziggy Hood is one of those guys, the first rounder last year. You expect big things out of him, and he's had a tremendous camp thus far.
3rd and 8 now for Bomar. And look down the field, and He delivers incomplete. Manningham was the man you saw on your screen with Joe Burnett, but Bomar was hit as he released that ball and it falls incomplete.
And that Steelers defense does what they need to do after the big return, forcing a punt here. Look at the blitz. Here comes the blitz. That ball was just overthrown. He had to have be under some duress. Somebody's coming right in his face, and it's Larry Foote. Yeah, I think I would have thrown that ball offline too if I saw Larry Foote coming at me like that. And Bomar decides to lay down, take a little rest there. Like, oh my God, I'm glad he didn't hurt me.
Matt Dodge, a 7th-round pick this year in the 2010 draft of East Carolina. High hanger, looking for a nice bounce there. It takes one. It's a Steeler bounce the other way, and the Giants are down at the 17-yard line. Steelers go to work with Byron Leftwich coming back onto the field after a 3-and-out. And hey, join us during the Heinz Field Kickoff and Rib Festival for the 22nd annual Gatorade Steeler 5K race, fitness walk, and kids kickoff run. It's Saturday, September the 4th at Heinz Field. The race will be chaired by Steeler alumni John Brown, Jerry Moon Mullins, and benefits the Art Rooney Scholarship Fund. The race features a spectacular finish on the Heinz Field warning track, great prizes. For more information, call 412-697-7713, or for online registration, visit Steelers.com.
You might need a little 5K walk after working with those ribs a little bit. Big Tony Hill's in the game for Max Starks. Saw Max Starks going off the field just a second ago.
Leftwich. Handoff, again, it's Moore. Trying to get some yardage. Not much available right there at the right side of that Giant defensive line. You see Rocky Bernard. You see Dave Tollefson. And a lot of guys looking for roster situations. Rocky Bernard out of Texas A&M, a 5th-round pick with Seattle back in 2002. He's been around.
Marquise at the line of right there, making a very nice block, hanging on to his guys, trying to pancake him right there at the end. The 1st-round draft choice.
So far, the Giants have outrushed the Steelers 45-20. The Steelers have made some big plays, as have the Giants actually won to Steve Smith, and that accounted for some big yardage. Byron Leftwich has time, fires, he has that cannon arm, and it's incomplete as they look down the field, and nothing there, and it goes as an incompletion. Bruce Johnson in coverage.
Antoine Randall L. got up and was pointing to himself like that may have been his fault. There he is in motion, coming down, running the arrow route, trying to get to the center, and here comes the ball. Let's see if he had a chance at it. Looks like the defensive back got his hands on it a little bit. Antoine thinking maybe that might have been one that I probably could have gotten my hands on.
Antoine in the game, so are 3 other wideouts, including top of your screen, Arnaz Badaweb, the big 51-yarder from Dixon last week. Again, it's Leftwich, delivers this one right there to Mike Wallace, who's back in the game. Wallace gets across the 31-yard line, finally knocked out of bounds by Courtney Brown and Michael Greco.
And that's what Byron Leftwich can do. He can deliver the ball on those outs as good as anyone. When he has time, throws it on the line. Mike Wallace runs the nice route, comes back, does the fundamental thing, comes back, gets the ball, secures it, and secures the 1st down for that Steeler offense.
Marquise Pouncey remains at center, and we've seen him on a meteoric rise, Edmund. You knew he was a good player, obviously playing at Florida as a freshman, #1 pick, but he is in a dead even battle at this point with Justin Hartwig, and I expect him to get that starting job the way things have gone.
A very pleasant surprise for John Kugler.
Home run ball, and it's right on the money. Mike Wallace dives into the end zone. Byron Leftwich got time. He put it up, and he put it right where he had to, and the Steelers get a home run ball and take the lead.
That has to be the first ball I've ever seen thrown to big number 17 and not underthrown. He just ran right into Bob and made the big play. That was unbelievable. Byron Leftwich just sits back in the pocket and just heaves this one as far as he can throw it. Can he outthrow Mike Wallace? No, you can't do that. It's impossible. Look at him just turn on the jet. Once the ball's in the air, that's where you see Mike Wallace separate from everyone else. And he really didn't look like he was running as fast as he could right there. No. What a great play.
Boy, he totally burned Bruce Johnson, number 25. And once you get a step, that's what Mike Wallace showed us last year. He can take that ball and outrun just about everyone. Point after is good, and the Steelers have retaken the lead on the huge touchdown strike to Mike Wallace. It's 10-7 now with 2:49 left here in the second half. And you like those 4-play drives that cover 83 yards. Just a 129 time elapsed.
Byron Leftwich, very comfortable in the pocket, just throws it as far as I don't know if he's got another 5 yards in that arm, just throws it absolutely as far as he can, knowing that Mike Wallace is going to find a way to run under this. And Coach Tomlin is like, that's how you do it. Just throw it up there, let him go get it.
68 yards. We had one last week that was Dixon to Antonio Brown. He kind of just got it and ran with it. A lot of yards after the catch, but this one was just Wallace turning it on and saying, catch me if you can. And Bruce Johnson could not. And the Steelers get a sudden strike and lead 10-7.
Do you think there's any relief on that face with Byron Leftwich? Just kind of like, okay, now there it is. Broke a sweat. Got my first touchdown in. Feel pretty comfortable. Feel pretty good about that throw. Couple of throws in that series that he should be proud of.
Yeah, the out pattern that got the first down in the first place was right there. Beautiful throwing that. Mike Wallace re-entered the game at that point, and you can see why. They wanted to give him a look with the speed to burn, and boy, Wallace has it.
You know, it's funny. Defensive coordinators are always looking at a way to try to stop a guy with speed. There's only one way you can stop a guy with speed, and that's with speed or holding.
Sepulveda now, the left footer, kicks it again. Will be taken by Andre Brown. This one gets into the end zone about 2 yards deep. Brown over the 10, and he's hit right there by Isaac Redmond. Is that him in the bottom of that pile? 33 on special teams. Makes the stop on Andre Brown. A Nikita has gone rogue from Division, an ultra-secret government agency trained to be invisible assassins. No one ever leaves Division except the charming and deadly Nikita, played by international action star Maggie Q. Don't miss this sexy and suspenseful series. It starts Thursday, September the 9th at 9 after the Vampire Diaries on Pittsburgh's CW. Tune in for Nikita. Bomar hands off, it's Brown. Brown kicking it to the outside, nowhere to go there. Several Steelers involved there, including Kieran Fox, Larry Foote there. Andre Brown's on an NC State 4th round pick. He had Achilles surgery last year. He missed the entire preseason, and that was, they kind of cloned him to like Derek Ward. You remember him? He used to be here. He went to Tampa Bay. They think when healthy, the 22 has a chance to be that kind of runner.
So if it's anything like Jacobs and Bradshaw, he's going to be quite the runner, let me tell you.
Another handoff to Brown. Turns it to the outside. Outruns Will Gay. Over the 30, the 35, the 40 to about the 42-yard line. Nice run by Andre Brown, who looks fully recovered from his surgery.
Kieran Fox having to make a play way downfield on that one. Watch this effortless speed. Just kind of steps up and then bounces it to the outside, and then the foot race is on. Will Gay takes a bad angle, and he just skips to the outside, showing effortless speed. Looks like they have quite a trio back there in the backfield, the New York Giants.
Now they have some breathing room, the Giants do, as we hit the 2-minute warning of this first half. They'll be there at the Steelers' 3-yard line. Pittsburgh had a 3-0 lead. Then it was Bradshaw with a 9-yard touchdown, and Leftwich to Wallace for 68 yards. It's where we are, 10-7 Steelers. All right, 10-7 is the score, 2 minutes left. Mike Wallace, 68 yards, a dead race to the end zone, and he won it, Edmund, with ease.
Just kind of skipping down the field there, then the ball is up, and now you see the separation speed, and really just kind of running under the football. Not really much there except blazing fast speed.
Score with the Steelers when you play the Pennsylvania Lottery new Pittsburgh Steeler Instant Game. We'll tell you more about that in a minute as the Giants go back to the ground, and nothing there as Mr. Madison comes up and makes that stop. You could win one of 5 prizes of $100 grand. There's more than $19 million in cash prizes overall, the Pittsburgh Steeler Instant Game. Or you can win second chance prizes, individual game tickets, VIP road trips, autographed jerseys, and more. Pittsburgh Steelers Instant Lottery Game. Check it out.
And now Rhett's in the 2-minute offense trying to get a quick score here before the half ends.
3rd and 2, they got to move the chains first. 1:26 on a moving clock. Inside handoff, and he's going to get the first down yardage to complete this drive, or at least continue it. Madison there once again, along with Ryan Mundy to make the stop on Andre Brown.
Anthony Madison trying to make a play to stay on the field on the Steeler defense, as well as being the great special teams player that he is.
And now it's Bomar looking down the field, overthrows his intended receiver, Mario Manningham there. Good coverage by the Steelers.
Joe Burnett there in position to intercept that ball had it been thrown a little lower. 2nd and 3
2
Joe still kind of feeling his way around that corner. Very solid corner. He also has return man capabilities in the punt and kicking game.
And there's Jason Worlds, a second-round pick. We have not seen him until tonight in game situation. He had a hamstring, Edmund, and number 97 making that transition from defensive end at Virginia Tech to linebacker, and he's a specimen.
And he is one pass rushing man. Let him turn him loose. He was giving the hotel fits last week in the passing game.
Bomar now has it up, intercepted there by Joe Burnett. He ends onto that one, in and out of the hands of Manningham, and Joe Burnett takes it away, and the Steelers will have about 53 seconds to see if they can turn this into some points, but he did not hang on to that one. Where was it, in Kansas City or Oakland? He hung on to that one.
And this was a deflection. Joe Burnett in good position right here. Bomar throws the ball. Receiver gets a hand on it, and Burnett makes the play, catching the ball away from his body as it's going away and having the nice return. But for one drop, Bob, he could be possibly a starter. He makes that one play. You never know what could have happened. And yet here he is making another play in camp. The draft choice from last year doing a nice job there.
That was just a bad pass by Rhett Bomar because Manningham was open. There's a little delayed handoff now, and it goes to Noel Moore, spinning around inside the 30 to the 27-yard line. They stop the clock with 46 seconds left.
Hard to find a back in the NFL that has the skill package that Mewelde Moore does.
Pittsburgh, this is their first charge timeout. 30-second timeout.
Has always been the third down back in this package, but again, here you watch him. They had the little sprint draw package, and then he has the speed to get to the corner, turn it up, and then the power to kind of spin and keep going. A very nice play in the 2-minute package when defenses are taught to think pass, 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 and you have the little draw action. Mewelde having the speed to get up in the hole and get the nice gain.
That was such a problem with the Steelers last year, just not making big plays at crucial times, drop passes, whether it was kickoff returns, punt returns, whatever the case had, they just didn't do it. And Joe Burnett was one of the guys who didn't. And tonight, he hung on.
Opportunity is circular, Bob. There's always going to be a second chance for a guy to make a big play, and this was his chance. I know he really wants to get on that field, Burnett does, in the regular season.
Leftwich eludes some pressure up the middle now and does it again. Leftwich now trying to outrun everyone's at the 20, and he slides smartly down at the 16-yard line. A good bit of ad-libbing there. If you didn't know better, you would have thought it was 7, not 4 on the uniform.
Did you see the niftiness, the legs, the bounce, the push? I mean, look, watch this stepping in there. He's dancing around. He sees nothing. He gets up there. Now the moves. Look at him. He's looking right, looking left, bouncing around, and then has the fortitude to get on the artificial turf before somebody hurts it. Very nice. Very nicely done. And showing some niftiness. Who says he can't run? Who says it? I didn't say that.
Well, when people are chasing you, you're running for your life, you look faster than you do when you're sitting in the pocket.
That's way too much. That's way too much information, Bob. He looked good there.
He did. He looked real good. And he was, that was more instinctive than anything else. He knew it wasn't there. Survival mode. You just do it, run, and he smartly got down. That's one thing that coaches don't like to see when guys, that's how Batch got injured a couple of years ago with a collarbone, and he didn't go down.
He was trying to get down, actually, but didn't quite make it. He might have finished him off.
All right, Arnaz battle back in the game, 81. Bottom of your screen there. Steelers looking to add some more points and take advantage of the turnover. Joe Burnett with a pick. Guns it, and Antoine Randall L. is there at the 1-yard line. What a gun by Leftwich, and the Steelers, as time continues to tick now, will have a first-and-goal situation. Want to spike that football. Leftwich, though, is going to try to run it.
I was hoping they would run a play there. I was really hoping that, because that is a perfect situation to expect a spike. But would have been even better play is hand it off to a running back. But that's well designed there and well thought out by Byron Leftwich to get to the line of scrimmage and then try to run a play, not just spike it, but try to get it in there. Watch this passer. He sets in the pocket off of that back foot and throws a rocket.
30-second timeout.
Down to Antoine Randall L. That's a great play.
And it's a good play to run that keeper if you know you have a timeout left. If you don't, it's very risky. And they did have, and they called that. So now the Steelers will try to figure out what to do with 15 seconds left. An opportunity here to get in the end zone and extend this lead to a full 10 points.
Byron Leftwich on that quarterback sneak needs to bend at the hips and the knees and get low as opposed to standing up straight and kind of leaning over the top of his offensive lineman. In case you don't get any movement, you have a much better chance making yourself small and try to get into one of those creases that may appear to your right or left.
They got the heavy package. Matt Spaeth checks in along with David Johnson, both to the right of your screen. Second and goal now for the Steelers, trying to capitalize on that turnover by Joe Burnett. Leftwich looks into the end zone. Antoine Randall had it and lost it, and it's Bruce Johnson who was there. He was the guy who was victimized by Mike Wallace. Set up third and goal with 12 seconds left.
Looks like Antoine had a chance. They come off, give the run look. The pass looks beautiful. Antoine goes up to get it. Probably not thrown quite high enough. Watch a little crossing route here. Antoine goes up. If the ball's up a little higher, he may have a chance to make that play. That's a good job there by the defensive back, number 25, to make sure he doesn't bring that one down.
All right, Steelers now on a third and goal here with 12 seconds left. Leftwich hands off, up the middle. The defense responds, and Moore gets nothing. And the Steelers are going to end up with nothing because they ran out of timeouts. The last one was when they used it on the Leftwich keeper. And so they get nothing out of what should have been something. They threw it on second down. They run it on third down. They never get a chance at fourth down.
And it seems like those plays were done in reverse. It would seem that if you're going to run one, run it early on the early downs and maybe throw in the latter downs. But again, there's execution, and that's probably exactly what Mike Tomlin is talking to Byron Leftwich about. But right there, that's when you either want to get in the end zone or score, or get down quickly and give your field goal team a chance to get out there. Poor time management, but that's why you're in the preseason.
There was something miscommunication-wise there as well. You saw Bruce Arians and Mike Tomlin talk to Leftwich. Don't know what the original call was, or whatever the case may be. The Steelers squander an opportunity, but they do have the lead at 10-7. Branshaw with a 9-yard touchdown to give them the lead, and then it was 68 yards. Leftwich to Wallace. That's where we are at halftime. 10-7 Steelers lead.
Deflected pass.
The only bad part about that, it did not turn into points, and it should have. They were knocking on the door, had the ball at the goal line, and the Steelers chose to run it on third down. They never got a chance at fourth down because they had no timeouts left, and that is certainly going to be something that we are going to talk about after this game with Mike Tomlin. We'll see what he has to say. And this is the Steelers deep in their own end zone, taking it out, and again, it's Antonio Brown tripped up right there by Bussing as he gets across the 20 to the 24-yard line.
Antonio Brown has done a very nice job getting vertical north and south very quickly once he receives the ball, both on punts and kickoff returns. Has done a very nice job and is making a case for wanting to have that job as the season comes to a head. And now another quarterback. We get to see Dennis Dixon coming into the game. Very nice.
Yes, we do. And tonight's Steeler game is brought to you in high definition in partnership with Xfinity by Comcast. Dennis Dixon had a good game last week. Managed it pretty well. He may have missed a couple of open guys down the field, but his legs made up for that. And, of course, he combined with Antonio Brown for that 68-yarder against the Lions. He's in for his first opportunity tonight. Leftwich, job well done tonight. Handoff up the middle, and it's Isaac Redmond. Not getting much there. Hit immediately by Philip Dillard, who was their fourth-round pick this year out of Nebraska.
Also get to see our first look at the New York Giants first rounder, Jason Pierre-Paul, the first rounder out of the University of South Florida. What a talent he is. 1 year at two different colleges, 1 year at USF, and then comes in here as a first-round draft choice. The guy can do backflips, Bob.
Oh, he's really good.
15 or 20 of them right in a row.
And, of course, Pitt played against him, being in the Big East Conference. Saw a lot of him. Here's a nice run by Redmond as he gets close to the 30-yard line. Jason Pierre-Paul also sacked Mark Sanchez last week as he took on Damian Woody head-to-head and beat him and got to the quarterback. So he's an impact type of player. There's no doubt about that, number 90 in blue.
Certainly is. And it looks like Isaac Redmond did not get up after that good run that he had there. He has been a workhorse in both training camps last year and this to this point. As you see the good misdirection coming back, and there's the cutback lane, and Redmond's up in there. See if we can see anything. Just had a bunch of bodies fall on him. Probably got the wind knocked out of him, falling on the football. Nice body lean in there, gets hit.
Maybe his shoulder. The left shoulder looked like there was a lot of weight on him, there's no doubt.
Yeah, a lot of guys on top of him.
All right, the Steeler medical staff out to look at Isaac Redmond. We'll be back right after this. We're back at the Meadowlands. Isaac Redmond intended to by Dr. Jim Bradley, John Norwick, Arika Iso there, the training staff, and looks like a rib. It looked like he did get landed on by a lot of people, either the shoulder or the rib.
Yeah, watch, he gets hit here coming from the defense. Right here, he's going to, right there, you see that shoulder, right to that hip area and the rib area, but he was walking off kind of gingerly, Bob. I don't know if we're going to see him the rest of the night.
3rd and 4 now for Dennis Dixon. Has time, goes underneath, and has a reception. And that's the veteran. Arnaz Battle with a flag in the secondary. This one, we'll see what the call is, but if it stands, it's a first down for the Steelers.
Looks like it was illegal contact downfield.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 37. Penalty is declined. First down.
Very nice job by Dennis Dixon, sitting in the pocket there with bodies flying around him, making the pass on the little drag route to get the first down. Showing a little more poise this week than thus far.
Marquise Pouncey remains at center. To his left now is Craig Urbick, another guy the Steelers hope takes a step forward this year. He was the 3rd round pick in 09 out of Wisconsin. Missed all of last year, didn't play. Inactive. Dixon down the middle, has a man, has a completion, and that's good for first down yardage right there. And it's Emmanuel Sanders, the rookie.
Look at the maturation of the young quarterback playing out the run action, play action, very nice play action fake there, and then the dart right across the middle. That ball was thrown right in the numbers. If you drop that, ain't nobody's fault but your own, and of course, he's not going to drop that. What a nice play. Well thrown. Emmanuel Sanders showing some stuff.
That's a tough number to wear following Lynn Swann. We're in an 88 there, but he's all-time SMU career catch leader and touchdown leader down there, so he is dynamic. There's Justin Vincent in the game, 28. Makes a nice little ad-lib, but then it shuts down quickly as he gains about 3 yards.
Justin Vincent, another guy that's been around the Steelers training camp for several years, been on the practice squad, and he's around here for a reason, because he can play. He can play football. He's just been a victim of numbers to date. Isaac Redmond having the better showing as of late, but now he's getting his shot. One man's injury leads to another man's opportunity here in training camp, especially the later you get.
How about on his resume for Justin Vincent out of LSU? He was an MVP of the 03 SEC championship game and then the 2004 BCS national championship game. So he's good in big-time situations. Just got to get one here. There's Emmanuel Sanders now trying to follow David Johnson down, and finally he's taken down there by Adrian Tracy, 98, another of their draft picks this year, but it moves to change. The Steelers have another first down.
Well executed bubble screen there. You want to get body on body here, but as you can see, he just kind of throws it out. Has a little bubble there, little blocking in front, and gets a very nice gain. That one could have gone for a lot longer. Looked like there might have been a little more room if there was just one more block for him.
Frank the Tank Summers now got a big meaty package over there with David Johnson also in motion, 85. Dixon keeps him himself, looks in the flat, dumps it off to Vincent at the 20. Vincent gets to the 16-yard line. And then he's tackled by Jarris Wilkinson. But a nice little play there. Results in a big gain of 9.
More maturation. He would have run this football last year or the year before. He gets out there. He's on the corner. He can run it. I'll throw it. Let the running backs run. That's exactly what he does. Gets a nice 9-yard gain there. That's what the running backs are paid for. Get out there, and if there's nothing there, yeah, run it. But if there's a receiver in the area, throw it. Justin Vincent, absolutely.
Handoff right up the middle, and it's Redmond who's back in the game now after that injury. Shook it off. He's back in there, and that's certainly good to see.
That's very good news to see Isaac Redmond back in the game so quickly. So it must have been just a little tinge. Whatever it was, he shook it off, and he's back in there. You want to see him get as many carries as possible, because I think that this is a guy that can really help the Steelers, especially in the short yardage situation where they've actually suffered so much here in recent years.
Especially with Jonathan Dwyer out with an injury, and that he did not get a lot of praise from Mike Tomlin this week. He has a shoulder injury, and he came into camp a little out of shape. Again, it's Isaac Redmond up the middle at the 5, spins at the 4. Isaac, red zone, Redmond gets into the end zone for the touchdown on the 9th play of this drive. And the Steelers, after they left a few points on the board at the end of the first half, come out and score immediately to lead 16-7.
Marquise Pouncey hobbling off the field after that play. Got roughed up a little bit, but Isaac Redmond just bulling through the center of that line. Look at the blocking up front. Look at that blocking right there. Everybody's moved out of the way. I could even step in there. Bob, you might even be able to run in there, and then you get all of the power coming in and watch it. Look at that. At the point of attack, nobody's there. He doesn't get hit until he's 5 yards down the field. Then he starts dragging people and running over people and spinning and breaking the plane. Isaac Red Zone Redmond. I like Red Zone better than anything else. I like that.
Red Zone has a nose for it. He did it last year. He's doing it again this year. Reed adds the point after it, 17-7. Good movement, as you said, Edmund, by that O-line. Doug Legursky in there doing some things. Urbic, left side of it. And Redmond gets in after sustaining an injury to either his rib or his shoulder. 9 plays, 78 yards, consuming 506, a 12-yard touchdown. The Steelers have a 10-point lead. All right, we're back. Steelers have now extended that lead to 10 points. Nice drive right out of the bat. 9 plays, 17-7 is that score after 12-yard Redmond run. And there it is. Television's fastest growing comedy, The Big Bang Theory, moves to a new light this fall. Catch The Big Bang Theory, 8 o'clock on Thursday, starting September the 23rd. You'll see it only on CBS and KDKA. That could be another nickname for him. He's the Big Bang threat out of the backfield. You gotta love the fact that he was injured and came right back. Back deep, you see Gartrell Johnson, 33, along with Victor Cruz, number 3. Threes are wild here as Sepulveda ready to kick it off. 9:54 left. Steelers very efficient on their first drive under Dennis Dixon. This one lands at about the 3-yard line, taken by Johnson. Penalty flag. Looks like there's a holding call on the Giants back there. Scott Chandler, I believe, was 85.
Personal foul, wedge block, receiving team, half the distance to the goal, first down.
No longer allowed in football, the wedge block.
Wow. Pretty consistent coverage there by the Steeler kickoff coverage team. Al Everest again can rest easy for a moment.
Yeah, aside from the one return.
They form a 3-man wedge.
Pretty good work so far, but they're going to be back deep now. The Giants are inside their own 10-yard line, and Al Everest with that long resume. He's here now, and he wants to extend his trip to Pittsburgh. We'll be back right after this. We're back. Steelers up 17-7, and Edmund had noted that Marquise Pouncey left the field, was tended to briefly, but he seems to be okay, Edmund, from what you can gather down there.
Yeah, I saw Dr. Bradley walking away, talking with John, the trainer, and looks like he's going to make his way back on the field. Let's hope. Way too much talent to have to miss some time. I'd like to see him play this preseason.
Steelers now looking to try to get a quick 3-and-out. Here comes the blitz, and Bomar swings it over to Sonoris Moss. It goes incomplete, in and out of his hands. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Bomar getting his share of snaps, and I would guess that he's loving every single one of them, but he's going to play a long time with both Eli Manning and Jim Sorgi out. He's going to get a lot of the snaps, if not all of them.
He might eligible, number 68.
See an outside chance of Dominic Randolph getting in, but how about Antrell Roll getting back there at quarterback?
They don't want that to happen. You don't want
supposedly he has a very strong arm, but
starting safety to be playing quarterback in a meaningless game. But Dominic Randolph comes here from Holy Cross. He was with them earlier in the spring, and then they released him. He was on his way to a vacation, and they called him. He was at the airport. He had to turn around. I hope he didn't have his whole family with him. He just left him there.
You guys go ahead. I got something
going on here. But he's 3 straight years was the Patriot League Player of the Year, number 8 for the Giants. And I don't know. It'd be interesting. He didn't have much time here. They also brought in Sean Andrews. Remember him? The big number 1 pick of the Eagles several years ago, who battled some depression, and they signed him just a couple of days ago to fortify their offense. Gave him a very interesting deal, and then totally backloaded. Right. $32 million potentially, but it all comes only if he does a lot of stuff, because they're uncertain about what he's able to do.
$250 this year. $250,000 this year with
3rd down. They go to a screen, and what a play there by Will Allen. The newcomer in the Steelers secondary. He signed a 3-year deal out of Ohio State, and he stopped him in his tracks.
Watch this close. Will Allen.
Gotta like that. 7th season for him. Originally a 4th-round pick of Tampa Bay in 04, so he probably has some ties to Mike Tomlin, knows him well. Now the punt by Dodge, and looking for a return here for Antonio Brown. Backpedals at his own 30, takes it about the 27. Brown has some room. Now let's see what he can do in the open field. Not much on this particular play. Not much downfield blocking. There is a flag, and we'll see what the call will be here by Mr. Green, the referee tonight.
The first time I saw any hesitancy at all on one of his returns, but got as much as he could get. That ball was kicked really well.
Holding, receiving team, number 27. During the kick, the ball will be spotted after the penalty from the end of the kick.
So it's Joe Burnett getting caught with that one. As you look at Al Everest, special teams coach, as we said, got that long resume going. He actually played at a place called the Lugano Frogs in Italy. Do you know that? Did you ever know there was a team in Italy called the Frogs?
Don't know anything about the Frogs.
We'll be right back.
Ready?
We're back in East Rutherford at the new Meadowlands. 17-7 Steelers. Want to remind you about the 33rd annual Richard S. Caligiuri City of Pittsburgh Great Race, Sunday, September the 26th. Log on to rungreatrace.com for more information. Entries this year will be capped at 14,000, so make sure you ensure your spot today. Marquise Pouncey back in the game, which is good news after hobbling off a little bit there the last time. Hand off up the middle. Nice little weave running there for a gain of about 6 yards or so. Goes Justin Vincent. This giant
Vincent looking at getting the tough yardage in there. You could hardly see him weaving his way inside there.
These two teams last year, Edmund, you might recall, 09, it started like they could maybe meet in the Super Bowl. The Steelers were 6-2. The Giants started 5-0. And then all of a sudden, screeching halts. Both teams went through severe losing streaks, and many of the games are similar. Overtime losses, 2-point losses, close games.
Teams you shouldn't be losing.
Exactly, and then the whole season imploded at the end when they lost 41-9 here in their final home game at the old Meadowlands. Look at Antonio Brown with a little high hurdle as he gets first down yardage.
You can just look at that young man and know that he is just bursting to get on the field any way he can. Every time he touches the ball, he does something very exciting. And this is no exception. Watch the little bubble screen out here to the right. Gets out there, some people have it. He just hops right over somebody and looks up again and then gets the first down, getting out of bounds. Just a very exciting player, lots of speed. You're going to have to find a place for that young man on the football field.
Dixon with Pouncey at center. Hand off, and there's an opening there. Nice blocking by the offensive line as Vincent gets big first down yardage for a gain of about 17 yards, close to midfield.
No one at home. No one at home. That offensive line coming off. Pouncey blocking back and then going, getting a linebacker, locking up with him. Vincent finding a hole and doesn't get touched. Watch Pouncey blocking back, going one push off there, now lock up with a linebacker, now run downfield. Not bad at the point of attack. Everybody over there, you see big number 64. Doug in there doing a nice job.
You know, you talk about position flexibility, which is what Tomlin likes to talk about. That guy has it. He can do a lot of things. Sometimes they line him up in the offensive backfield. He's a big kid out of Marshall, undrafted, and he seems to be working his way more and more, you know, into the coach's penthouse.
Yeah, Doug's a center, too. He's backup center as well, and he's over there playing offensive guard. And he and Pouncey have flip-flopped because, of course, Pouncey drafted as a center eventually, but getting a lot of work at center now, but also can play guard.
19 Tyler Grisham in the game in the slot over there. Kid from Clemson looking to get a roster spot. Play action now. Dixon fires the ball down the field. Has his man for another first down. And it's Emmanuel Sanders, the 3rd-round pick, with a nice route, nice catch. They move the chains again.
Emmanuel Sanders had to wait on that ball just a little bit. Dixon has to get his timing to where that ball is there as Emmanuel comes out of the break. Nonetheless, a great play. Watch the nice play action, and then just a little bit of hesitation there. Releases the ball. Just a little bit of weight there, but not much. And the play was made. As he comes out here, looks inside, now right there, as he's going right there, that ball should be, as he explodes his eyes back to the quarterback, that ball should be right there.
Frank the Tank Summers, it looked like it was a broken play. There's maybe a handoff to him, but this is what Dixon can do. He gets turned a negative into a positive, and he almost tight ropes into the end zone. Plenty of first down yardage there, but that was a broken play. It looked like maybe the fullback was supposed to be the running back on that play or get the ball, and he didn't.
Don't you love broken plays like that? I want to see another broken play. Now watch this. Somebody went the wrong way. Oops, no one home. And now Vincent says, okay, I'll block you. You run. And run he does, and almost tight. Oh! 1 or 2 more steps, and he keeps his balance. He runs like a gazelle, doesn't he? Just beautiful strides, long strides. He knows he almost had one there.
Frank the Tank looked like he should have been in a different spot there, whatever the case. When you have legs like that, you make it happen. Up the middle now. Here's another newcomer for the Steelers. I believe that's Dwayne Wright, number 38 in there from Fresno State. They just signed him a couple of weeks ago. First opportunity in a preseason game following Summers.
Tom Coughlin just cannot be happy with what he's seeing from his defensive front. You know, he's got a lot of great pass rushes, but when you run right at him, oftentimes you get these kinds of results. That big Steeler offensive front is now dominating the line of scrimmage, and they're just running it right down their throats. No need to pass when you can run right through them like this.
It's the heavy-duty package in there right now. Steelers who missed an opportunity right before halftime. A little confusion. This one goes once again to Dwayne Wright, and he looks to be into the end zone. He is. Touchdown for the first-year player out of Fresno State. And so far, the Steelers in this third quarter have totally dominated. Second string versus second string. It's gone Pittsburgh, up 23-7.
A lot of line moving over here on this left side. Big Tony Hills, Ramon Foster over there on that side. Just big body on body. Get out of the way. There's Ramon making the touchdown sign. He gets out there and gets on a linebacker. Well, that's a mismatch. Tony Hills gets out there on a linebacker. That's another mismatch. Can almost walk in the end zone from there. Jubilation, everyone. 6 points.
It was 10-7 at halftime, but now with 3:52 left in this third quarter, the Steelers have extended the lead to 24-7. Dennis Dixon engineering 2 touchdown drives, and there's the touchdown maker, Dwayne Wright. Steeler defense goes to work, trying to protect this lead now with 3:52 left third quarter, 24-7. We'll be back after this. All right, we're back at East Rutherford, 24-7. Steelers extend that lead. I want to remind you about a new program. How I Met Your Mother comes to Pittsburgh CW this fall, weeknights 7 and 7:30. Neil Patrick Harris stars in this hilarious hit comedy, How I Met Your Mother, starting September the 13th. Weeknights at 7 and 7:30 on Pittsburgh CW, which is also the home of the Subway Nightly Sports Call every night at 10:35. Call us with your opinions about the day in sports. And Jeff Reed now gets his first opportunity to kick off tonight after an 8-play, 82-yard drive. Right, the 2-yard touchdown. How about Dixon tonight, Edmund? 6 for 6, 77 yards. 1 run on a busted play for 22. That's turning a negative into a positive.
I'd say he was somewhat efficient.
Gartrell Johnson takes Reed's kick, and he's over the 25. Thaddeus Gibson knocks him down there at about the 27. But another good effort here by all 3 quarterbacks tonight. So if there is still a controversy as to who plays for Ben Roethlisberger in the first 4, certainly Leftwich played well, and Dixon has played well as well.
As well, there's a very good effort by all 3 quarterbacks for the New York Giants. Oh, my bad.
All one.
Omar's got to be like, okay, look, this is preseason, and I'm in here deep into the third quarter.
They pitch it, and it goes to Andre Brown. Brown gets a nice bit of yardage there for about 8 yards on the play. Chris Hoke and Nick Eason were there at the bottom of that pile fighting off blockers, but Andre Brown from NC State looking to make an impression.
And here's where the fundamentals have to kick in. Even with this unit in there, Bob, they have to play on the offensive side of the line of scrimmage. At the point of attack, you want to be attacking the line of scrimmage. Way too soft over there on the defensive right side for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
2nd and 2 after the gain of 8 by Andre Brown. Steelers have taken control of this football game. 2 nice drives to start the third quarter. Victor Cruz, the free agent out of UMass, who had a big game last week. They're already going, Cruz. You talk about one game could make sense. This guy, nobody knew who he was. Undrafted UMass, and last week 3 touchdowns. The first time a player's done that in a preseason game since 1998.
This guy is certainly a game breaker, and he's a big, strong guy, too. He gets the ball in. Watch the stiff arm. Just get out of the way. I'm not going down. Very close to a penalty being called there with a hit out of bounds, but no harm, no foul, at least in the referee's eyes.
He actually got a tweet from LeBron James, believe it or not. I don't know what connection he has with.
Wow, he got tweeted by the King.
He got tweeted.
Really?
I guess the King was watching and liked what he saw and tweeted him.
Well, you would think that LeBron James's favorite team would be the Cleveland Browns. Maybe not.
War of words between LeBron James and Dan Gilbert, the Cavaliers owner.
I think it was more than a war of words.
Very interesting to see when he returns to Cleveland for the first time.
Won't that be something?
2nd and 9. Up the middle comes the pressure, and Brown gets away from him. The handoff barely completed, and then Will Allen comes in and wraps him up. But boy, that had disaster written on it. It looked like it might result in a fumble, but they got away with it, and they get a gain of about 4.
Larry Foote was on a mission on that blitz, coming right up front. You see him right here, coming right in the middle of the fire zone, and then everybody runs around him. Nice job by Will Allen reading the run and coming up from his safety position, making sure that doesn't bust for a big play. That had the makings of a very, very big play if he gets past Will Allen.
3rd down and 5 now. The Steelers have been good getting off the field on 3rd down defensively here tonight. Shotgun for Beaumont. Over the middle, high, and overthrows his intended receiver. It was Cruz, Patrick Bailey, 55 there. Another bad throw by Bomer. He's got to make that play.
Looks like a late hit by Ziggy Hood.
Number 96 going low at the quarterback's legs. 15 yards from previous spot. 1st down.
Ziggy a little anxious, huh?
Yeah, it looks like he got in there. He threw his hands up in there, and Mike Tomlin's very disappointed in that play. That's a game changer. It's one of those calls where the defense is off the field, and then you have a late hit, an unnecessary hit on the quarterback.
Looked like he went to his knees, and they're always going to call that based on how things have developed. And maybe we can get a look back at that play, but I don't know that he viciously went. He just went down low, and maybe that was the reason. There's Brown now over the left side for a short gain. Chris Hoke is down now. That's one of those calls, though, that they're going to call a lot for quarterbacks who are prone in the pocket. You go down low with their ankles, and that's what normally happens.
Yeah, you have to be careful how you hit quarterbacks nowadays. There was a day when that wasn't true, but you have to protect quarterbacks because they oftentimes are in very vulnerable positions, especially when their eyes are downfield and they're trying to make a play.
Bomar in shotgun, 2nd and 8. Time elapsing here in the 3rd quarter. Under a minute. Steelers up by 17. Bomar slings it, looking for his man, and finding Sonoris Moss as he puts it right between a couple of Pittsburgh defenders, and that's a 1st down for the Giants.
Jason Worlds was dropping in the coverage there, had his eyes on the quarterback, and did everything almost right. You see him come dropping back right here. Could have gotten into the throwing lane with a little more experience. He knows that there's one wide receiver out to his right. Maybe take a glance at him, glance back at the quarterback, and try to get into the passing lane. Not a bad job there, but a more veteran linebacker, maybe a Woodley, would have found a way to get into the passing lane, knock that one down, or maybe intercept it. He's a work in progress, though.
Certainly is. A lot of talent. They love that about him. Andre Brown now up the middle on the final play of the 3rd quarter. Unless there's a penalty, gets close to the 20-yard line. And the Giants will get it there to start the 4th quarter. Steelers came out and flexed their collective muscles, 2nd team. 2 touchdown drives, which turned a 10-7 lead into a 24-7 lead, and that's where we are right now. Dennis Dixon getting it done. 6 for 6 in the passing department and a 22-yard run. We'll be right back. As the Steelers have the lead at 24-7. 2nd and 8 now for Brett Bomar scrambles, and the Steelers get to him, but looked like they could have had him earlier there. Eventually, they knock him down. Karen Fox is there, but it's good enough for a 1st down scramble, and they move the chains now, the Giants do, trying to get back in this game. Let's take a look at the 3rd down stats. Edmond, passing yards, and every statistical category went to the Steelers in that 3rd quarter.
Including the 14 points, which is one that really matters. The Steelers capitalizing on their opportunities tonight, putting the ball in the end zone when they get into the red zone.
9 plays, 78 yards, resulting in an Isaac Redmond 12-yard touchdown. Then 8 plays, 82. Dwayne Wright gets in from 2. The 2 scores of this 3rd quarter. There's a little tuck handoff up the middle. And it goes to Andre Brown. Ryan Mundy comes over and finishes him. But it's a very good gain down inside the 5 to about the 3-yard line. It'll be 2nd and very short, and they can still pick up a 1st down en route to the goal line here.
Couple of really soft plays by that Steeler defense. One where Rhett runs out of the backfield. He shows his feet now. He has a good set of legs on him and can get upfield. And then on the draw play, just the Steelers allowing way too much on those two plays approaching their end zone.
Bomar now, hands off again, it's Brown trying to get up the middle, and there's not much room there. The Steelers doing a good job, just like the Giants did to them at the end of the first half. A flag comes flying in, so we'll see what that is.
Looks like on Burnett.
Personal foul, defense, number 27, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Coach Tomlin will take a note of that. Try to see if we can see it here. Here's the action inside, up at the top right of your screen. Hard to see. Not much there in the middle, however.
Gives him a first and goal situation, however.
And Coach Tomlin is having a little talk with Burnett right now. Exactly what happened on that young man.
68.
Again, Bomar trips his time, and boy, there's a big log jam there. Larry Foote, Nick Eason.
Great penetration there by Nick Eason.
Yeah, not a good play. Unless you're a Steeler fan, then it's an excellent play.
Watch the penetration here on the interior line. Nick Eason gets off on the ball, just dominates his man. There's nowhere to run there. He just trips everybody up. Nick showing good form, coming back, gets off on the ball like it was his snap count, and just destroys everything in the backfield. There's no place to go. Guys are blocking in the end zone. They don't even know Nick's already made the play, and he's pretty excited about that. Nick bouncing back through his struggles.
2-yard loss now. Bomar throws in the end zone, overthrows. His intended receiver, and then the call interference on Anthony Madison against Victor Cruz, even though it looked like that ball was uncatchable.
Interference,
A very
defense,
tough call,
number
Madison.
37, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Runs into him, yeah, little shove. You have a point there, Bob. That ball looked to be a little high. But I guess in the opinion of the referees, they're thinking he might have had a shot, and he kind of just ran into him right there. Little crossing route. A little bit of hold early, and then right there as he goes up for the ball, a little bit of a push.
Yeah, once again, new set of downs, first and goal here, and Bear Pasco is the lead blocker here, although he looks like he might be the intended receiver. Bomar instead goes inside, incomplete, not sure who he was throwing to. He had two guys over there.
This is a very good series for that young Steelers defense that's on the field right now. They're going to see what they're made of, what kind of metal they have. First and goal at the 1. Who wants to play? Who wants to show up?
68 reporting.
Fourth quarter, the second preseason game. Coach Tomlin is keenly aware of what's going on out there. Halfway out on the field, about 5 yards out on the field, Coach Tomlin is urging his team to do what they need to do.
Once again, it's the big tight end lining up as the lead blocker there. They have two tight ends in. Handoff. Up in the air is Andre Brown, and there's a fumble. The ball is loose. Now it's whether or not the official says touchdown, and he does.
They're signaling touchdown, yeah.
But Andre Brown went up and over. If he broke the plane of the end zone, it's a touchdown, and we'll see if that ball was loose before he did, but I doubt it. It looked like he got up there and in, and if so, it's going to be a touchdown.
Let's see if we can see it here. He's coming in. All he needs to do, folks, is break the plane with possession of the football. Looks like he has it right there, and it's coming out. There's the football coming out as he's airborne. Now, did he have possession as he crossed the line? Hard to tell in there. There's a scrum in there. It's very hard to tell where that football is. At least from the camera angle that we had, it looked like the ball was coming out as he was crossing the goal. Look right here. As he's going up, where has he crossed the line? The ball is coming out right there, and he wasn't even touched.
Tomlin has challenged. He's thrown the red flag.
And now with the challenge, as we all know, it has to be
conclusive.
Absolutely conclusive evidence.
The call on the field is touchdown, so unless they see evidence completely, it will stand, so we'll see. All right, we're going to go to break, look at more camera angles for you, and we'll show you what we find when we come back to East Rutherford. Steelers at this point up by 11. We're back, 12:23 remaining. The question, is this an 11-point, soon-to-be 10-point game, or is it 17 points? Tonight's Steeler game is brought to you in high definition in partnership with Xfinity by Comcast. Tom Coughlin wants that touchdown to stand. Andre Brown got in, at least they said, before the fumble occurred. They are looking at it as we speak, and here comes the call.
You really can't tell with the angle from behind. It's hard to tell, but watch it.
The ruling on the field stands. Touchdown. Pittsburgh is charged with a timeout.
Ball was out, but not conclusive evidence in the referee's eyes, so indeed the touchdown will stand.
And again, all you have to do is break that plane, and based on the video evidence, there's not enough to overturn it.
Take a look at it right here, Bob. As he goes up, nobody's touched him, and there's the ball is coming out. Number 26 has his hands in there. He punches it out. Will Allen punches it out. Looks like a little bit, but where is the ball when it comes out? Is it prior to him breaking the plane or not? And that was not conclusive.
Point after by Lawrence Tynes. First kicker in this game from Scotland. And that makes it 24-14. 12 plays, 74 yards. How about 6 first downs in that drive? 3 of them came on penalties, and it results in this touchdown by Andre Brown. Steelers' lead is now 10 with 23 left. Bob Pompiani, Edmund Nelson, Jeff Frizella back with you as you look at Marquise Pouncey, number 53. Steelers still clinging to that lead at 24-14 after that long drive by the Giants, resulting in the Andre Brown touchdown. And we have a new return man. It'll be Stephon Logan. What'd you think of Antonio Brown from what you saw of him, Edmund?
I like everything that I saw. No hesitation, hit holes, made holes where there weren't any with his speed. Made guys miss, and you know that if he gets a crack, one crease, one crevice, he's going to be off to the races.
Tynes going to boot it away here. And it's more of a squibbish kind of kick taken by Logan at the 12. Logan trying to turn on the Jets to the outside, get some blocking, still on his feet. Stephon Logan now trying to cut inside, finally tackled from behind, but a nice run and a flag comes in as he took that ball right near the 40-yard line. Good return by Logan.
Not bad. He knows where he stands. He knows what he has to do, and unfortunately this good return is going to be called
Holding.
back.
Receiving team, number 85. 10-yard penalty. First down.
David Johnson and Al Evers doesn't like that. Those are field position changers, and it can certainly influence the outcome of games there. See if we can see David Johnson. There he is.
Yeah, he's only dragging the guy to the ground, but, you know, he got caught. You see Logan making some moves, trying to get every little extra yard out of his return.
All right, Dennis Dixon back in at quarterback. 2 nice drives in that third quarter, which turned a 10-7 game into a 24-7 game before the Giants have responded here. And there's a fumble. And it's quarterback center exchange, and not sure if Legursky was the center at that point, but he does recover his own fumble.
Looks like I see Craig Urbick in.
Craig Urbick was doing that earlier. I don't know if he's in there at this point. We'll find out right now.
That was Legursky. 64 Legursky. Yeah, he's back in there for this first time, I believe, at center, and didn't quite get the ball up to where he needed to. Hard to tell whose fault that is.
All right, 2nd and 10. Handoff goes to Justin Vincent. Vincent cuts inside, makes a nice run, dragged down from behind. Finally, it's Dave Tollefson who drags him down, but it's close to first down yardage.
That Steeler offensive line, doesn't matter what combination of players they put in there, still dominating that New York Giants defensive front.
All right, 3rd and 1. We'll go down on the field. Jeff Frizella standing by with Ben Roethlisberger, who looked very good tonight. Jeff?
Thanks very much, Bob. Ben, your first preseason action tonight, your impressions of how you played. Did you get the rust off enough?
Well, it was fun. It was fun getting back out there with the guys, and I think we did pretty good. We had a couple of negative plays. Obviously, the pick kind of came off my hand wrong, but other than that, it was good to be back out there, and I think we showed some good things tonight.
You guys broke camp earlier this week. How was camp for you overall?
Good. It was good because it's getting back to football. You know, that's what I love the most, and getting out there and doing that. So to be around these guys and everything like that is good.
Your thoughts of a couple players in particular. Marquise Pouncey seems like he's making a push to get the starting job at center. What have you seen from him?
he's doing a great job. Really come a long way. Every day it seems like he grows and gets a little bit better. Center is a tough position on this team because there's a lot of identification, as well as being a physical guy. So he's doing such a great job that Justin's really helping him, and he's doing a good thing every day.
How much fun has it been for you the last couple of weeks to watch Dennis Dixon go out there? Because it just seems like the lights have just come on for him.
It's fun, especially when he takes off running. I always think something special is going to happen when he does that, but he does a good job. He's a quarterback. He's sitting in the pocket. He makes the good passes and takes off when he has to. And when he does, it's electric.
All right, thanks very much for your time,
problem.
man. Appreciate it.
All right.
Bob, back up to you.
All right, thanks very much, Jeff. Big Ben, 6 of 8, 76 yards, 1 interception for his night's work. The Giants have a penalty. They'll move deeper in their own possession when we come back. 24-14 Steelers up by 10. We're back, Steelers with a 10-point lead here with 10:16 left in preseason game number 2. Trying to go 2-0. More importantly, really get more assessment on some of these younger guys. Quarterbacks all look pretty good tonight. Roethlisberger shaking off some rust early on after an interception that was underthrown. Pretty good. Then it was Leftwich. Really good tonight, I thought. And Dennis Dixon so far has been very good. So I don't think there are any definitive answers necessarily. I think it's still Byron Leftwich's job until Roethlisberger returns.
Certainly looks like it, but time will tell. Dennis Dixon is an awful exciting player to have sit on the bench. So even if he doesn't start, look to see him sneak his way into the game somewhere.
Nice play there by Chris Holt. There he is, Dennis Dixon. And yeah, you would expect maybe some packages. You know, Bruce Arians talked a little bit about that. If he's not your starting quarterback, you should figure out ways to get him involved. Not a lot, but certainly when the time is right, make a difference.
And Bruce Arians is an innovator offensively. You know, he had a quarterback throw for over 5,000 yards last year. So, you know, even though they didn't make the playoff, there's innovation in that package. And if he can incorporate one Dennis Dixon with the skills that he has, and, you know, remember, you could have situations where you have 4 quarterbacks or former quarterbacks on the field at one time. Look at this move.
That's Gartrell Johnson there, who eluded Thaddeus Gibson at first, and then the Steelers wrap him up, but Bomar gets about 6 yards or so on that play. It's going to be 3rd and 3.
Modified Wildcat with Antoine Randall and Hines Ward, both former quarterbacks themselves, and Dennis Dixon out there, and Byron Leftwich. Who's going to throw it? Who's going to run it? Who's going to catch it? I could think of all kind of permutations in that particular offense.
Rhett Bromar has played this entire game. We were thinking maybe we see Dominic Randolph, who was just signed the other day, but apparently that will not be the case. 3rd and 3 for Bromar. And he has first down yardage there. Don Butler makes the stop on Duke Calhoun, number 84 out of Memphis.
Nice little drop here, a little stop route. Preseason coming up, trying to make sure that's all he gets. Guys are trying to play it out. You still have to play hard. You still have to play tough.
Johnson up the middle, runs into about 4 Steelers. Short gain there. This guy was an interesting pickup because last year he was a 4th-round pick of San Diego. He led the Chargers in preseason rushing, in receiving, and in touchdowns. And for some reason, they parted company with him, and the Giants quickly picked him up.
A la Ike Redmond, huh?
Yeah, don't know what they didn't like based on the numbers, but who knows? Of course, you have a loaded backfield there, too, and it makes it difficult to find space for people.
We have one guy that happened to a couple of times in the name of James Harrison. So
there's Victor Cruz. Last week's hero sheds one tackler, gets out of bounds, and it's another first down gain for the kid out of UMass. All of a sudden, it's become a fan favorite.
One thing that these young players need to know is sometimes they're just a victim of numbers, and your time may be coming if you continue to improve. A la Victor Cruz right here. Again, showing strength, showing the stiff arm, showing how elusive he is, just catches the simple out, and then breaks one tackle, and he's off to the races.
Bomar again, drops straight back, looks down, flings it, has his man, and it's the big tight end, Scott Chandler out of Iowa, who makes that reception, and again they move the chains.
That was a beautiful throw by Rhett as he dropped back, just kind of flicked that ball out there and found his big tight end. Nice big target for him right across the middle. Feeling very comfortable. He ought to. He's been in there the whole game and looks like he's going to play the whole game.
Steeler had bookend linebackers in Jason Worrells and also Thaddeus Gibson. And you think Worrells obviously is going to make this team as a second-round pick, Edmund, but Gibson might be one of 3 that they're looking at. And there's a nice plant by Renaud Williams, a linebacker, 48, who made a nice tackle there. But you have Gibson, you have Stevenson Sylvester, number 47, you see right there behind Williams, and you have Patrick Bailey, who's mostly a special teams guy.
And these are guys that the Steelers pick, most of them very young. Jason Worrells certainly is a guy that needs some development. Stevenson Sylvester is a guy that has very long, spindly legs and plays, at this point at least, very high, but still has lots of talent, lots of speed. He's a guy that's going to have to get his pad level down if he's going to play effectively. And there he is.
Oh, and look at that play by Stevenson Sylvester. Almost like LeVar Arrington. Remember when he did that and get jumped over to you? He was quick to get to that ball.
Yeah, he said get the pad level low on that right there with the blitz coming in and wreaking havoc. Watch the speed. He just blows right through. Nobody can pick him up. The back is late to come and pick him up. And he's got him a quarterback sandwich right there. Brett Bomar's got to be thinking, okay, you know, I've shown you guys I can play. Can somebody come in and get me out of here?
Lester, 5th-round pick out of Utah.
Here he comes
More
again.
pressure from the outside this time. He confuses everything, and Bomar throws it incomplete.
And again, that time, you move him to the outside. Stevenson Sylvester comes from the outside, gets his hand on the little screen pass, recognizes it. He was on his way to the quarterback, and then he recognizes the screen. Oops, there it is. Look at him get his hand on it. Great recognition by the young fellow. You can play high if you make plays like that in succession. 2 very nice plays by Stevenson Sylvester, the 5th rounder, 3rd 5th-round pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers out of Utah.
And that's what this is all about. Tom Coughlin not happy with what he sees. There's a timeout.
First charge, timeout.
We'll take a break as the Giants on a 4th down situation. 2 good plays by Stevenson Sylvester. We'll be right back. We've got 5:54 left here in the 4th quarter at the new Meadowlands. Steelers up by 10. Join us for the annual Coors Light Kickoff and Rib Festival, September 2nd through the 6th at Heinz Field. And we got tremendous national rib vendors, free concerts, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all kinds of stuff at the Rib Fest. And now, in an effort to make it a 1-possession game, opportunity for Lawrence Tynes at a 43-yard field goal. If he makes it, it becomes a 1-possession game. It's up, and it's good from 43 yards away. Lawrence Tynes puts it through, and the Giants are within a touchdown of tying this game.
A lot of leg in that kick, too. That thing could have been good for another 15, 20 yards or so.
He's a good kicker. He's been around, as I mentioned. He got the game-winning field goal in overtime at Lambeau Field in the NFC Championship game, and that was a 47-yarder, if I believe. It was a long kick, one of the longest. All right, back to the PNC NFL preseason scoreboard. The Ravens. A lot of people like the Ravens. We'll see what they can do in the regular season, although they have suffered a lot of injuries already. They're up 20-3. Kansas City over Tampa. Cleveland came back on St. Louis to lead at 17-13. And the Jets, who were losers here last week, lead at halftime 6-0 over Carolina, who will provide the opposition on September the 2nd at Heinz Field, the final preseason game.
Tony Dungy having a tiff with the head coach of the New York Jets about the language thing, huh?
I don't know about you, but do you think maybe the Jets have set the expectation bar way too high based on their own talking? Rex Ryan, you know, every time he gets an opportunity, everybody's goals to win the Super Bowl, but man, they go out and tell you about it at every opportunity. And I think sometimes maybe, you know, he's the one who came out and said, Darrelle Revis is the best corner in the game, so guess what Darrelle's doing? He said, okay, you said it, coach. I want the money now. He's still not in camp. That's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Sort of letting his alligator mouth out-talk his mockingbird behind, huh?
All right, the kick. Taken at the goal line by Logan once again. Steelers looking for positioning. A nice run back before, denied by penalty. Logan now over the 30, a nice run. He's not totally spectacular, but he's very efficient and chalks up big yardage as he did last year, a franchise record for Steelers in kickoff returns. By the way, the last drive was 10 plays, 55 yards. Tynes with a 43-yard field goal.
He's just trying to pick his spot here, a little lateral movement there, but once he finds a spot, and he's so small, he's very tough to get a good hit on. And you can tell the young man is really fighting for his spot, his place on this team, and had an awful good year last year.
All right, Dennis Dixon still in this game. Good third quarter for him, to be sure. Antonio Brown, 84 in motion, bottom of your screen. And the handoff goes to Dwayne Wright. Not much real estate there. The Giants defense looking to try to get that ball back for Rhett Bomar.
The Steelers need offensively to get a couple of running first downs, keep that clock moving. Clock is in the Steelers' favor. They have an opportunity offensively to take this game by the horns and end it right here. But they need to get a couple of first downs and make sure that there's no time at all on that clock for Rhett Bomar to come back out with that New York Giants offense.
2nd and 7 for Dixon now. Made a nice big 22-yard run when a play was broken. This is a quick hitter to Antonio Brown, getting the outside, and Emmanuel Sanders trying to throw a couple of blocks there.
There's a bit of inexperience there as you see Antonio Brown fighting to get as much yardage as he can, but the thing that he needs to think about also is the clock is your friend at this point in the game. Stay in bounds. I watch this little bubble screen again. We've seen that play 3 or 4 times tonight. Get inside, cut inside, makes a nice cut there. Then he goes to the outside. Now either get down inbounds, slide down inbounds, or fight your way inside. Keep that thing inbounds because now you've frozen the clock at 4:54. And you're giving them all the more chance, especially if you don't get a first down here.
And it's a 3rd and 2. Big play for the Giants defense. Dixon, it's batted down there. Looked by number 73, looked like he got his hand on it, not sure. 75 was it? Whatever the case, it goes as an incompletion, and bottom line is they're going to have to kick the ball back to the Giants, who will have plenty of time to try to orchestrate a game-tying drive.
It's Dan Sepulveda time. Be nice to put one out here about the half-yard line and make these guys go 99.5 yards or so.
Sepulveda now gets it away, and it's a big high hanger. And once again, Victor Cruz back, and he's going to field it at his own 5. Fumble the ball, and boy, that ball out of bounds, and that's a rookie mistake.
Guess where the ball went out?
Did you call 99 yards? Is that the way you thought it was going to happen?
Yeah, no, not exactly, but I'll take credit for it.
Now, a special team coach loves that play, even though it's not a good play. It is. By their special team, right off his knee.
Kick goes right out at the half-yard line. The half-yard line. How about that?
Well, we'll find out a lot about Rhett Bomar now.
Well, he just muffed. He just took his eyes off it. Must have thought he was going to get hit. You can't have that kind of inconsistent play. They've been calling his name and number out all day. Cruz, and then he bumbles one like that.
Turned out to be Booze now. Cruz. Straight up the middle, trying to get some operating room are the Giants. Not much there. Clock rolls. Pittsburgh's defense, 2 straight 3 and outs.
Plenty of time on the clock where the Pittsburgh Steelers defense needs to hold fast right here and give their offense an opportunity to maybe punch one in before time runs out. Every opportunity that these young kids can get at this time in the game, Bob, is critical towards their future.
Yeah, if not with their current teams, and certainly to put some film out there on them. Bomar from his own end zone is going to air it out down the sidelines. Has a man. It's Tim Brown. But is he inbounds or out of bounds? And no, he did not get his feet down, but Tim Brown got free in the secondary. From Rutgers, I don't know if you remember, he was a pretty good player for Rutgers in the Big East Conference.
If this ball is where it needs to be, it's perfect. He had room to catch it in bounds, but thrown too much to the sideline, and Red knows he missed one right there. Oh, I can't believe I threw that ball too far.
Brown got separation. Now it's third down for the Steeler defense. Again, it's Bomar. Inside rush comes. He avoids it, trying to get just out of the end zone, and he does, and he's finally flattened there at the end by 42 for the Steelers. Timon Cromartie-Smith.
Almost a safety. Guys are coming in. A little twist action there. Number 77 has had to get off the field. Oh, my goodness. That's got to drive. Sonny Harris? At 77, he's got to get upfield. If he's in position there, that would have been sack, possibly fumble, lost ball in the end zone. Time to get your name announced in the paper the next day.
Bad kick by Dodge, and Logan trying to field it. Well, he touches it and fumbles it, but luckily for him, got it right back. He was anxious to get over there, and that's not the kind of thing you want to do, although Al Alvarez gives him a little tap on it. He was trying to be aggressive in a situation that didn't call for aggressiveness.
That's right. He could have let that ball be blown dead. Give him the Peter call. Ball's bouncing around. It could bounce anywhere. You know how footballs go. And right there, when he bobbles it, that's dangerous territory right there. He has the wherewithal to get on top of it, though. And Al's okay with that play, but he'll have a talking to Mr. Logan. Next time, let's not play with that one.
Fullback lining up is Sean McHugh. 49 for the Steelers, and he's the lead block on this run. His right gets to about the 40, keeps those legs moving now, and the pile moves inside the 40. 38-yard line.
Nice power run, exactly what you need, attacking that line of scrimmage. Those big defensive front guys for the New York Football Giants tired, wear them down. Steel offensive line has played very well, I think, especially in the running game.
Yeah, they put up some yardage here in the second half. I thought, guys like Tony Hills getting, incrementally better. Yeah. I mean, not explosively better, but he's making strides. Urbic is now over there at right guard. Legursky's been solid, and I thought Pouncey and Hartwig, they look for depth. That's the one thing you need as a long season wears down. Again, it's right up the middle, just killing clock at this point, and it should take us to the 2-minute warning unless the Giants decide to stop it.
And they have. Tom Coughlin a bit frustrated with the goings on as of late, especially with his defense, but the Steelers have done a nice job. You have to get to the point, Bob, if you're an offensive lineman, that you can be trusted to get in the game and play in big games, and that's where Tony Hills has to get. He has ability, he has size, he has the wherewithal to be a pretty good tackle. But he has to get to the point where the Steelers trust him enough to put him in critical situations, put him in the game, and expect him to perform.
Giants defense, Perry Fuel, who is their defensive coordinator, has a long history with Tom Coughlin. Was with Buffalo last year and became the interim coach there for a while before they went in a different direction. Once again, the Defenders comes to KDKA Wednesdays at 10. Starting September the 22nd, Jim Belushi, Jerry O'Connell. You want to watch that one. Here's a big third down play now for the Steelers, trying to put this thing away if they can. Up the middle, it's right, and he gets the yardage necessary to move the chains, and that's big, as we will get to the 2-minute warning. Hines Ward, a fan of that. Steelers will next move on to Denver next weekend, see the Broncos, and then they'll finish out at home against Carolina on September the 2nd. AFC looks very interesting, Edmund.
Yeah, the North is especially interesting. A lot of people got their money on the Ravens.
This is the 2-minute warning.
But a lot of good teams. I mean, the Jets expect big things. The Indianapolis Colts and the Patriots you can never discount.
Nope.
A lot of good teams. And the Steelers, if they stay healthy, they got the wherewithal to do it as well. So it's wide open, I think. We're going to take a break. 2 minutes left. Steelers protecting a 7-point lead. Steelers preseason football is brought to you by Highmark, Blue Cross, Blue Shield. Have a greater hand in your health. By Verizon Wireless, your signal reigns on America's largest and most reliable wireless network, Verizon. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Get your game face on. Play the Pennsylvania Lottery's new Pittsburgh Steeler Instant. And the Steelers hit the lottery in the third quarter. 2 long drives to turn a 10-7 lead into a 24-7 lead. The Giants have come back with 10, but the Steelers have the ball now, controlling their own destiny here, trying to run out of clock, leading by 7 with 2 minutes left. A big third down conversion, and now a loss in the backfield. This time right goes the wrong way, and it's their outstanding young linebacker, Adrian Tracy, out of William & Mary, who was a defensive end in college, trying to make the switch to linebacker with that stop.
30-second timeout.
Steelers offensive line really coming off. Just allowed a little bit of penetration, but really coming off, stinging that defensive front for the New York Giants.
All right, the high mark of the game, presented by Highmark, Blue Cross, Blue Shield. Edmund, I'll defer to you. You go first and tell me yours.
I'd have to say seeing number 7 get in there and do what he does, very comforting for me to see that not a whole lot of rust there. He's himself. He had some timing. I know there were some big plays in this game, but I think the mission for this game was to get number 7 some looks. They did that, and he looked pretty good doing it.
I'll go with 4, Byron Leftwich, just for the 1 home run ball. I mean, he aired it out and hit Mike Wallace in stride. He burned Bruce Johnson, and that was a 68-yard strike. Gotta love the home run ball. And we got one there. 68 yards from Leftwich to Wallace. The high mark of the game presented by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Right now over the 30-yard line as the Steelers try to move the chains again. Giants down to no timeouts now, so the Steelers really do control this. Steelers have 2. How about the Denver Broncos next up? They got some issues out there. Doomerville already done for the season. So many, preseason injuries. Achilles and knee. In fact, they have one here. Dominic Hickson, one of their outstanding wide receivers. Right. He's out for the year already, as is Willie Colon. It's amazing how much of this happens. And you wonder how important is some of this off-season stuff when you're going to lose guys, regulars. 3rd and 8 now. It's a bootleg, and it's Dixon with some real estate. Dixon's going to get first down yardage, very close to it, before he's run out of bounds. Did he pick it up? It looked like he did. I thought he had more room to play with.
Yeah, very comfortably he picked it up, and as soon as he saw he had it, he just kind of started coasting, making sure that he wasn't going to take a big hit. Very smart. Do what you need to do.
That's a nice weapon to have if you're a quarterback. You got to protect it. You got to know. That's another thing why they probably should incorporate him just to give defensive coordinators more to think about as the season progresses.
Yeah, I wasn't joking when I said that. I think that he has earned a chance in my book to get on the field and to play, and they have to find a place for him. A good coach will do that. A good coach, good offensive coordinator, like Bruce Arians will find a way to get his weapons on the field and to get them on there at the same time, and to make sure that everybody is happy with their touches. He's had a tough time doing that over the years, with personalities that like to get the football, and they've had no problems doing that. I mean, they spread it around very nicely last year, and I think you're going to see some innovation this year, especially with the advent of Dennis Dixon doing the things that we've seen him do in the first 2 preseason games.
Plus, you got Antoine Randall Ellen there. He's capable of some things. I've seen Arnaz Battle throw the ball. The potential is there. Just a matter of how they want to use it and when they want to use it.
They haven't even scratched the surface. Emmanuel Sanders, are you kidding me? Antonio Brown, are you kidding me? I mean, they have weapons that they could certainly use to really give defenses a hard time.
Antoine Randall Ellen wants to get out of Dodge, man. He's heading right for the locker room.
First bus.
Tom Coughlin, Mike Tomlin come together. Steelers win it tonight 24-17. Left some points on the board right at the end of the first half, and I'm sure Coach Tomlin's not too happy about what went on there. But more than anything, looks like for the most part